just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. And just quickly, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter show today because we had to start a bit later. So apologies for that, but we'll try to get through everything. And also tonight, Father's Day, 6 p.m, we've got a drop. We've got the Father's Day brand new blend, our first new coffee blend at Grumpy Coffee. 6 p.m. tonight they release. It's also got a brand new design for Father's Day, World's Greatest Dad. Make sure to be there. Limited supply. Once it's gone, it's gone. And it's a brand new blend, guys. Try it out. Also, we've got basically packages. So we've got Bloke thongs, we've got Bloke undies, we've got stubby coolers. We've also got Bloke slides. I wear these all the time at home. They're so comfy. That's also at 6 p.m. They'll be in packages, discounted for Father's Day, guys. Limited as well, so make sure to be there. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video too. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really does help us. Anyway, Roo, how you going, mate?
I'm okay, mate. Yeah, a bit of a weird weekend for me.
Okay.
For the first time ever, I tipped to Golden Point and it didn't go to Golden Point.
Yeah, okay.
People in the comments will be like, but you're tipping them at 66%. It's not 100%, you know? It's below the standards that I set.
Yeah.
Should Stephen Crichton have scored that try to go to Golden Point? Probably, but can't win them all. But I do win most of them.
Oh, man. Where was this early in the year? You're still about $50 behind.
It's worth the same this year. This part of the year, mate. I'm coming home strong.
Timmy, how you going, mate?
I'm outstanding, thanks, Kempy. Just so much great sport on TV at the moment. We had like a blockbuster weekend of NRL, which this time of the season there tends to be a few blood just thrown up here and there, but there were that many good games of footy. You throw in the English Premier League being back, some Group 1 horse racing being back, the Tour Championship golf. It just didn't stop, so I'm in a great mood.
Oh, yeah, okay. And also you've got the SC Playbook across NFL now as well?
NFL now as well, mate. It's all happening. Announcements everywhere in the Supercoach world, so expanding to NFL, EPL, obviously the NRL and the cricket will be upcoming again soon, so bit going on.
Ooh, okay. Hammy, how you going, mate?
Pumping, a little bit emotional, Kempy, to be honest with you, yesterday.
Okay.
Bit of a bad beat, which I'm sure we'll get to a bit later, but
beat.
fantastic weekend. Roo Crew on Friday. Very good to get down there and get amongst it. Big turnout. It was, well done, Roo. It was good
Finished the night with Scotty Bellotti at karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke. I sung Angels 3 times. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. Due to popular demand. So it was good stuff.
All right, let's face a bit of music. Let's face it. Oh, before we do, Aussie footy shorts are still available too. Limited edition. Great for Father's Day. Plus, I've got a bunch of other different designs as well, guys. So go to Aussie Footy Shorts website with Bloke. We've got a bunch of different designs with them. Let's face the music. Brought to you by Sportsbet.
We'll kick it off with a little plug to go and follow Kempy on the feed. A little bit of a quiet week last week, but what a bounce back it was this week. Nia Corey and Tino to score in the Warriors versus Titans game. $49.25. Outrageous. And they were the first 2 try scorers of the game as well.
Mate, anyone that knows rugby league knew that they were going to score first.
Yep.
So I was surprised it was $49. It was about $5 for me.
Yeah.
In my head.
Yeah, well done, mate. You beat the bookies there.
6 minutes it took.
I know. When Tino went over, I said, surely not. And Nia Corey went over, I was like, what the fuck? This is the best.
I think you had a couple of hundred follow you in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is
absolutely.
good stuff. Yeah,
so I've done once a month, $40 plus in the last 2 months. Yeah,
not bad. We'll take that. So go and give Kempy a follow on the feed. Give me a follow on the feed as well. Bit of a bad beat for Hammy's Hail Mary. The last leg I needed was the Tigers to win. And anyway, that's okay. We go again
it's
this week.
not like the Tigers to let their fans down.
Oh, come on, mate. There's just simply no need for that. Simply no need. All right, let's get into it. So Thursday night, Souths 40 defeat the Dragons 0. Matty had Souths plus 1.5. And then...
No faith.
The following people had Souths 13 plus for a very juicy $4.60. Myself, Roo, and Timmy. So well done. Off to a flyer. You had the Rabbitohs 1 to 12. What were you thinking?
Bro, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking that they've been shit all year, so I thought they'd be shit again.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Probably a bit of method to madness there. Anyway, on to the next game. What a game this was. Panthers 16 defeated by the Milk 20. Matty had the Raiders with the start. Denon, you had the Raiders head-to-head for $2.30.
Cute.
Roo, for the second weekend in a row, had this one to go to Golden Point for $13. Just talk us through it, Roo. What were you thinking?
Saw this one coming. Sorry to spoil it for you. Do you want to change the rules again this week? Can't do any anymore or what?
Bro,
You're going to need something special.
You're still third by a mile.
Not by a mile anymore. Probably half a mile.
It's still pretty big, but it's getting closer, I will
Mate,
say.
I'm doing this every week at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm coming up in 13s.
Yeah. What are next week's lottery numbers while you're up, Roo? As well? Got your eye in. All right, next game. Didn't go to Golden Point. Very nearly did. Storm 20 defeat the Dogs 14. Matty had the Dogs plus 7.5. Roo, you very nearly had another Golden Point, but not quite. Matty, the only ones to come away with points from the second Friday game.
Yeah, I think I had the Dogs line as well, right?
You had Storm. Oh yeah, so you had the Dogs plus 7.5.
Do you want me to do your job for you, or you're
If you wouldn't mind. If you actually no, you're not. I'm taking the point off. Matty, you can have Timmy's points for that.
What did I have?
For that one, you had the Dogs 13 plus.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, got a bit greedy. Yeah. All right, Manly versus the Dolphins. Manly 58 defeat the Dolphins 30. Matty had Manly head to head. And Timmy, you had them covering the 1.5. So you guys got the points in that game. A couple of Dolphins 13 pluses there. We got a little bit greedy. Some of the rest of us. Titans versus the Warriors. Titans 18 defeated by the Warriors 32. Warriors minus 3.5 for Timmy, Matty, and myself. We were the only ones to get points there. Rui had the Titans 1-12. Not your finest. Not your finest moment there.
It's hard to get my finest, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Pretty high up there, Ken.
You only need one a week. You only need one a week, Roo.
Wow.
Resting on his laurels. All right, Eels 30 defeat the Chooks 10. Bit of an upset this one. Roo had the Eels plus 9.5. I took the Eels head to head, $3.20. So a good result for me there. On to the Sunday games. Knights 12 defeated by Broncos 46. Broncos minus 9.5 for Denon, Matty, and Timmy. Broncos 13 plus for me. At $2.18. Then on to the last game, Tigers 28 defeated by Cowboys 34. No points for anyone. A lot of shooting from the hip, a lot of 13 pluses either way. That, of course, didn't pan out. So at the end of round 19, I will have to recalibrate the $1.90. I'll do it later, though. Bear with me. Roo, $19.50. The second best week in Face the Music for 2025. Well done to you, Roo. Timmy, this will actually improve. I can do this on the fly. $14.10 for you. Myself, $11.88. Matty, $9.38. And Denon, $4.20.
Yuck.
So overall, Matty, $216.01. Denon, $206.92. Roo, $182.70. So you need a couple more golden points to go your way. Timmy, $166.76. Daylight, then me on $156.15. So that's where we're sitting at the end of round 25.
There we go. So what are you again?
156.15.
And then what's the next one?
166.76.
So you're $10 behind.
Yeah, that's fine. Golden
Is that
point.
including my $2 or not? Because I might need it.
Golden point, whatever. A couple of golden point results.
Oh, that's
There
good
we go.
stuff.
A couple of weeks to go.
All righty, that's Face the Music brought to you by Sportsbet. A massive thank you as always to Sportsbet with partnering with the show. Let's get into the code story of the week. Go to codesports.com.au/bloke and enter the redemption code bloke, and you get access to a special discounted offer over the year. But for Tima, what do we got this week?
A big one this week, Des Hasler.
Ooh.
The writing was on the wall for a few months now for Des, but it's official. The Titans have announced that Des will not be the coach next year. He had one more season, 2026.
I thought he was contracted till 2026.
Apparently so is David Fafita. So look, it's not effective immediately. They're letting him coach out the final two games against the Dolphins and then the Tigers. The big news is, which was broken on Code Sports by Dave Riccio, is that Josh Hannay is the new guy coming in, tasked with a massive job of really, trying to turn that club around. 3 years for Josh, widely considered one of the best rookie coaches, head coaches in the game, sort of in that same breadth and calibre of Serraldo. A number of clubs had been eyeing Hannay, like Cowboys, Knights. So big news for the Tigers, but potentially has ramifications for guys like Adam O'Brien and Todd Payton. Maybe this earns them a bit more time now that Hannay's off the market. But for the Titans, it's going to be an interesting few months, particularly for guys like Tino, who go to the market on November 1. Obviously, Tino and Hannay have a relationship from their time at Origin camp together. Hannay is, of course, the assistant coach under Billy Slater. Jaden Campbell had been offered a massive $4.5 million 5-year deal, but apparently initially was reluctant to sign on the dotted line until he knew what the coaching situation was going to be. So there's a bit of clarity there now for him. And obviously the big one, who apparently will be there for 26, is David Fifita. But yeah, that's I don't know whether Hannay can salvage that relationship.
I don't know whether he'd want to be honest. Like, he's on a big wicket, and you're trying to start something new. So with Desi Hasler, we've got to talk about the press conference. First of all, I thought the journo was way out of line, so I want to make that clear. However, and you probably have more insight on this, this is something that's been brewing between Des and the journalists on the Gold Coast, or at least Queensland, for quite a while. So the Titans did a review into the club and Desi or whatever, and this is on Code Sports. Was it Riccio that wrote this as well, or was this?
It might have been. Is this the cultural?
Yeah, the cultural one. And so for a while, so I think when he first came, he put Dave Fifita on a year media ban. He put the whole squad when he first arrived on a 2-month media ban. And so the Titans have had issues with Des when it comes to connecting with the local fans for quite a while.
Yeah.
So when people are, again, I'm not condoning what the journalist did. I thought it was out of line. But I think people don't realise there's a big, long backstory of Des Hasler not dealing with the media and arguably not fulfilling his duties as a head coach of an NRL club.
Yeah. So it is not unique for a head coach to say, I don't want the media at captain's run. You know, this guy's got a lot of heat on him at the moment. He's not going to do any media. And a lot of that sometimes, you know, is decisions made by general managers rather than head coaches themselves, but they do have a bit of say in it. So that's not like it's not a good look for the Titans, considering they are losing a bit of ground up there, especially to the AFL, and that's a big issue, especially with the Suns sort of if it's a hearts and minds battle, potentially the Suns are winning that battle. So from that point of view, and there was, you know, Justin Holbrook before Des Hasler was sort of known not just as, you know, wanting to be the coach there, he was willing to be an ambassador for the club. And Des Hasler, you know, doesn't necessarily have a good relationship with most media, let alone media up there in Queensland. So that was part of a problem as well, like especially if you're locking away your stars, because, you know, your fans want to hear from your stars. And if you aren't winning hearts and minds, if you're stopping your biggest stars from talking to the media, that's a problem. So, look, I mean, media bans happen, but you can't afford media bans when you're the Titans and you're trying to really get a foothold in the Gold Coast market.
A whole 2 months for the whole team? I've never heard of that before. Maybe heading into finals, maybe, but a whole team 2 months. And then didn't he also, they built some blue fences so you can't see them train as well?
Yeah. That's another one that isn't, believe it or not, it isn't unique, you know. So so the fences or the tarpaulins, whatever it was, went up to stop prying eyes from having a look. NRL coaches are probably the most paranoid people you'll meet in your life. So again, not uncommon. Those barricades, tarpaulins went down. Then there were suggestions that he'd come up with some, you know, funky or weird hand gestures to try and communicate without the media knowing what was going on.
It's like Mr. Burns coaching the baseball team. David Fifita just doing I wish I was at home on the couch with a big bag of potato chips. Potato chips. Sorry.
So yeah, look, that stuff happens, and then that stuff comes out in the media, and coaches don't take too kindly, as we saw in that same press conference. You know, he sort of walked in there going, "Oh, look, my hands, they're here, they're on the desk, they're not making any weird signals." So yeah, look, for Hasler, it felt like the news on Monday, the writing was on the wall, really. So he hasn't. Initially, there were some suggestions that he might pull up stumps and retire. He sort of walked away from that, but. When you think about the fact that NRL clubs are more willing now than ever to back young coaches, we saw it with Serraldo, Jason Riles, now Hannay, you know, you wonder if coaches like Des Hasler still have a role or a part in head coaching moving forward.
What's frustrating about the situation with Des is, like, I understand the idea of, you know, win at all costs. I get it. But like, especially at the Gold Coast, you probably haven't earned the right to do that. Like, it's a growing club that needs you to be in the community, needs you to be connected to the fans. And I like the big clubs can do it because they've already established themselves as a powerhouse. The Titans, the least followed side in the competition. And I think if you're going to take that job, like Holbrook did, you've got to be committed to at least connecting somewhat with the media.
It's interesting. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, also, like, when you look at the players they've got, like, it shocks me consistently that Keno, AJ Brimson, and Jaden Campbell are willing to stay there so long, but they just love the Gold Coast. Like, they are guys you should be opening the doors to. Like, those three, along with Tino, they're fantastic community people. They're good talkers. Like, they just tick all. Like, it's not like you've got 30 wild cards up there that you can't trust in front of a mic. I find it bizarre.
Yeah. Tino is a brilliant leader. Just on that, it's interesting you say, the big clubs don't necessarily have to do it. If you listen to Ivan Cleary in this dynasty that so-called Penrith have had from the start, Ivan has hammered home, not only to the players, but publicly, we are doing this. This is, yes, we play football. Yes, it's awesome to win, but we want to be a community football team. We're doing this for the people of Penrith. We're doing it for the people of the region. And it's really hit home, you know. And yes, you know, you can sell out stadiums and the rest of it when you're winning titles and premierships and the rest of it. But Ivan has made a point of bringing that entire region with them along for the ride. He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
But that's a conscious decision he made. So his players understand that they're actually playing for a bigger purpose. For
sure.
So.
Yeah, I think I was more referring to with the media. At least when I was coming through, it was a very antagonistic relationship at the Broncos. They would sit us all down, you know, and tell us what to say pretty much. But yeah, in regards to connecting to the locals, like if you don't have something to play for, you're never going to win a premiership. Like you really aren't. So yeah, unfortunately, it does seem like rugby league has passed Des Hasler, at least at this stage. I just think that with how far the game's come, you just can't afford to be that disconnected from the media, the local population, especially if you're not getting results. Like results obviously fix everything, but you're not getting results. So, okay, so Hanne's coming in. Very, very exciting. Very exciting.
Is this done, do we think?
I think so. Every club he's been to, it's ended in tears, essentially. And look, not every time it's been his fault, but like Dogs ended in tears. Manly, you know, you could argue it wasn't his fault, but that ended in tears unless there's information I don't know about. This has ended poorly. If I was a club, I wouldn't be taking a risk on him.
It's a hard one because there's also, you know, we're expecting a potential bit of a coaching merry-go-round over the next potentially couple of months, but more so potentially the next 12 months with Adam O'Brien, Todd Payton, the flow-on effects that's going to have there, especially with Hannah. And maybe it's the last we've seen as Des Hasler as a coach, but you know, the Titans, this goes so much further than Des Hasler. Like, they've had a history of, you know, a lack of success. They haven't finished higher than 8th since 2010. And I look back at the admin and what's going on behind the scenes all the way back to Neil Henry. He was sacked in 2017, essentially because they chose to bring Jared Hayne on board for a stupid amount of money, and we know how that's turned out. So they've had problems with admin and coaching and players on the roster for a long, long time now. So has Des handled it well in his stint at the Titans? No, he hasn't, but nothing has gone right for them for a long, long time now. There's a lot more going on than just Des Hasler. Whether or not he coaches again, I'm not sure, but there's more than Des going on here.
I agree. They're definitely more than Des. I will say they essentially had their worst year in the club's history this year. To take that team with those Origin players, and so their worst year in the club's history was 4 wins, and it was in 2019 before Holbrook took over, but they didn't have anywhere near the roster they've got. That's what just surprises me so much, like the fact that they got so much worse so quickly under a guy as good as Des Hasler as a coach, because he's a bloody good coach. He's won premierships, all that stuff. So, yeah, wow. Rugby league, eh? It just keeps on happening. Keeps on happening. Make sure to go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Use code bloke to get your discount. Thank you to Fatima for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, it's time for Menulog's Hungriest player. Listen, I think it's pretty obvious who the hungriest player is. It is Ethan Strange. Use code STRANGE for $7 off tyres. Strange, he'd be a huge tyre fan. He would love a bit of Thai, surely. And our hungry local shout-out goes to 21 Thai, serving sensational pad Thai and crispy pork belly in Sydney's Inner West. If you want to get $7 off Thai restaurant near you, use code STRANGE on Menulog this weekend. We also have another deal with Menulog via the Bloke Club. You spend $30 to save $10 via the Bloke Club. A unique code would have been sent to your email, so make sure to use that. That's outstanding. If you spend $30, you get $10 off. Make sure to use it, guys. It's limited time. I mean, let's just talk about it. Ethan Strange, we'll talk about it a little bit here and then we'll get into it in the game. But, you know, sometimes when you start seeing hype of a player, the pressure gets to them a little bit and their form drops. He has almost just embraced it, and it's been like a snowball effect to the point where he might have even played himself into the Dally M6 of the year in the last month of rugby league. He's been absolutely phenomenal, and I just the amount of big moments he's had in games in such a short period of time. Geez, the Raiders have got a good one there for the next decade.
Yeah, I think he's almost definitely played himself into Dally M6. I don't know who off the top of my head would take it off him. Like, he might have even played himself into an Ashes squad, realistically, with the range of positions that he can play. What I love, and we'll talk about it more when we get to the Raiders, but they had 2 weeks to prepare for that Panthers game. I imagine Ricky would have built that up as, let's pretend this is a sudden death game. We need to win this. And a young guy like Strange comes up with a performance like that. Yeah. Like my biggest fear when I look at that Raiders 1-7 and I go, oh, finals experience, I don't know. It's as close to finals as you'll get.
And like KO Weeks as well, like 2 of these guys that have no experience in the finals. And I've got to say, like, with just the fact that Strange has done it so quickly in such a short amount of time, like his improvement from last year to this year is like, it's worlds apart, absolutely worlds apart. What do you think, Timmy?
Yeah, that's it, mate. We'll obviously get to the play itself and break it down a little bit more in more detail shortly, but we knew he was going to be good and potentially a special player, Ethan Strange, but just the progression that we've seen this year, and as you both said, just the big moments he's coming up with time and time again in a game where there are some very, very experienced veterans of the game who weren't able to ice big moments, and it was Ethan Strange who, yeah, sure, they were setting up the try for KO Weeks to win the game in Golden Point, but there are multiple other moments in this game. As Roo said, this has been built up as a finals game by Ricky Stewart with that 2-week chance to plan for it. And Ethan Strange, he's doing it time and time again. He just looks unflustered by sort of these bigger moments and the bigger pressure moments.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I will say, some players go their whole careers not having a good game against the Melbourne Storm, now the Penrith Panthers. Like, having a good game against most of the competition, any NRL player can do that. Having a good game against the Melbourne Storm and Penrith Panthers, that's a different kettle of fish. That's totally different. For him to already have done it at, 19, 20 years old, in a key position against Nathan Cleary across the other end, like, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thoughts on Strange's performance, mate?
Strange, unbelievable. Such a clutch moment. There's been a few of those from him this year. I know that, Kevy Walters has sort of mentioned in passing a little bit that he's on his radar for that trip at the end of the year. They've definitely found one there. Big game player. You know, if they go deep into this final series, it would be a big chance of getting a run on that tour. And I think, you call about him being 6th of the year. I can't really think of another player who's been more consistent over the course of the year in that sort of in that position. So amazing. It was a huge moment that'll be replayed for such a long time.
Man, Raiders fans will remember where they were when that happened forever. Yep. For me personally, I think he's locked into 6th of the year. I really think he's locked in. And the story about Ricky Stewart saying, what did he say? He said he saw like 2 minutes of him It didn't even meet him. He saw a game of him and he saw 2 minutes, stopped watching, called their parents and said, I want to meet him.
Yep.
And basically Strange said that his father always said, doesn't matter what game it is, you have to be physical at all times. And I reckon his physicality is what gets him into games, Ethan Strange. Because sometimes as a half, you can let the game go past you if you don't get physical. But if you in the contact immediately, it just brings you into the game. So
isn't he just this prototype of this Canberra Raiders number 6 all the way back to Laurie Daly and potentially before that? But, guys like Jack White and Blake Austin at his best, these great ball-running 5'8" that have come through the grades, and it's Ethan Strange. Like, it's just, for whatever reason, that is the 5'8" prototype at the Canberra Raiders.
Yeah, just works so well. So, Strange, he is our hungriest player. Make sure to use Strange, or you can use the Bloke Club. $30, save $10. Massive thank you, as always, to Menulog for supporting the show. Okay, time for the Grumpy Team of the Week. Just get it up here real quick. Alrighty, at fullback, this was really hard. It was Jai Gray, there was Walshy, there was Drinkwater, but we settled on Tom Trbojevic at fullback. At 2, Hopewadi, Lehigh Hopewadi. 3, Stags. 4, Tallis Duncan. Was it Tallis Duncan or do we have someone else?
No, Tallis was on the bench in the end.
So
Taylor May.
We went Taylor May.
Oh, May.
Yep.
Okay. You know what? We'll go Duncan at 4, May on the bench. We'll go May on the bench.
Big swings.
Just because the Rabbitohs won 40-0 and he was unbelievable.
Message to the coaching staff, I think.
Yeah.
Hey?
Sending a message to the rest of the coaching staff, I think.
Yeah, listen.
pulling rank.
We'll make moves on the fly. Jeez.
I've lost the coaching stuff. RTS on the wing. Ethan Strange at 6. DCE at 7. Payne Haas at 8. Riley Smith at 9. Tarpin at 10. Katoa at 11. Katoa's season has just been a joke. Kickout at 12. Corey Horsburgh at 13. Drinkwater at 14. Tom Fletcher at 15. Kayo Weeks 16. And Taylor May at 17. That's the Grumpy Team of the Week. Don't forget, we got a brand new blend. It releases tonight, 6 p.m. World's Greatest Dad Blend. Do not miss it. Okay, it's time for the Kayo Can't Miss moment. I mean, again, super obvious what the Kayo Can't Miss moment was, and it was the try to win the match. And sometimes you get caught up in the flow of the year, and it's just all kind of, you just get used to it, and you kind of take it for granted, and then a night of rugby league happens where you go, this is why we love footy. And that was this Friday night. And that try that Kayo Week scored, and there's a really key moment that I just think is probably going to get lost in the noise, but Jed Stewart had no right to chase back and be near the goalpost there. Like, the chances of it hitting the post and coming back are like 1 in a million, but for some reason, both him and Strange just made that extra little effort, and that changed the game. Like, without that little effort from Jed Stewart and Strange, they don't win the game. And yet... Yes, of course, we'll talk about Strange and we'll talk about Weeks, but Jed Stewart just making that little 1%er changes everything.
And it's crazy. You got those two guys that got back. If you watched it on the wide shot, they're the two. And, it doesn't shock me. They're the two sons of coaches, the guys that have grown up in change rooms, the guys would have heard these conversations time and time again, the little things that Ricky, would have picked up from his time as coach, and the certain guys that don't put in those effort areas. And Jed as well, I've spoken to him before, he listens to the podcast, he's a footy nerd, he just loves it. So to see that they get those little 1%ers right, doesn't shock me.
I mean, it's so Raiders, isn't it? Just those little, tiny little moments.
Yeah, as the old saying goes, Kempy, rugby league is a game of inches, and the flow-on effect from quite literally, I reckon, an inch is just remarkable in shaping the 2025 premiership.
Yeah.
If that ball is an inch more in, I reckon it probably goes through the post, Panthers win the game. It didn't. The Raiders go on, they score. Probably kicks the Panthers out of the top 4 for the season, which we spoke, Hammy, last week about, and I asked the question of what the odds would look like, Penrith finishing top 4 versus not, because it is just a substantial difference, as we know, with the team having never won it outside the 4. It locks the Raiders into a home final in that top 2 position. It means, from a Raiders perspective, that we probably won't have to play Penrith week 1 of finals. It is just, there are so many ramifications of 1 inch.
Like, you could land the Warriors week 1 because it's 1, 4, 2, 3.
Will land the Warriors
every chance.
And like an injured Warriors against a Raiders side, you'd be pretty confident going into that.
If that ball is an inch more inside the post and goes through, Penrith are probably premiership favourites.
Yep.
But because it didn't, it would have blown out, and all of a sudden they've probably got to win 4 from 4 to win the premiership.
Well, they were $4.75 before that game. They're out to $6.50 now. So, and the Raiders, they're into $3.75, shaved $1.50 off their price.
And all from a 5-metre effort. All from a 5-metre effort from a winger that debuted this year, the son of a great, the son of the coach. It's just an amazing moment. We've got to speak about it, and obviously it's called the Kayo Can't Miss moment, but Kayo Weeks. That performance, I'll be honest, I didn't think he had it in him. I thought Kayo Weeks was a guy that in a couple of years could do that against a top-tier side, but I didn't think he was ready necessarily this year to do it, just because he's come so far. How wrong I was. He was phenomenal. Like, he had them at 6s and 7s so many times. The speed he has at the back there, mate, they found his position. And what's going to be so exciting about Kayo Weeks is this is just the beginning. He hasn't played a lot of fullback. What's he going to be like in 4 or 5 years? With that kind of explosiveness, that kind of speed, absolutely incredible from Kayo Weeks.
Yeah, it's amazing because you look back to, I spoke about it for a few years on this podcast, that Ricky is signing these young guys, bringing them through. Ethan Strange is one. We've seen what he's done. Like, Chevy Stewart was the other one they had there that, if I'm honest, I probably thought Chevy had more upside at that point than what Ethan Strange does. They signed Weeks. I thought, okay, Weeks might get the gig to start, but it's Chevy's jersey eventually. Like, I think Stewart's going to have to leave the Raiders, realistically. Yeah. I can't see him getting that jersey off Weeks, so I don't know how that's going to play out.
And the thing with Weeks that, people are starting to realise it now, but as an athlete, he is explosive. Like, one of the most explosive players in the competition. Great footwork, decent ball playing, strong in contact, fit as anything. He's just outstanding.
Yeah, when you've got speed like Kayo Weeks, and a lot of these elite fullbacks in the game, and Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow comes to mind, I don't think you need to overthink your game. Your biggest asset is your speed. It's just those effort areas of being around the ball. You don't necessarily need to be the main playmaker and doing it with your ball playing and all these little things. If you put yourself around the ball and around forwards that can offload and scattered play, and Kayo Weeks, as soon as that ball went loose, he followed it, he got around Ethan Strange, he followed him. Good things are going to happen because your speed will do it for you, something that other people in the game don't possess.
Yeah.
And that's what he's learning to do. It's just be on the ball. Good things are going to happen.
Yeah, just incredible. What do you think of that moment, mate?
Unbelievable. Such an iconic moment that's just going to, everyone's going to remember. It was the game of the year, really. Had everything. The fact that it could have gone either way in that last play, it was unbelievable. Special moment.
So good. That's the Kayo Can't Miss moment, guys. Fox League exclusive games this week. Warriors v Eels, Raiders v Tigers, Dragons v Seagulls, Sharks v Knights. And the NRLW is 8 rounds done, and there are teams pushing for a spot in the top 6, Titans being 6, and Warriors, Eels, Bulldogs close behind them. You can watch every NRLW game live and ad break free during play on Fox League. Formula 1 returns from the summer break this weekend as we head to Zandvoort. Zandvoort with Oscar Piastri leading Lando Norris in the championship by 9 points. Tune in this weekend to watch every practice, qualifying session and the Dutch Grand Prix race live on Fox Sports. Race is on 11 p.m. Sunday. And the World Surf League finals hits cloud break Fiji from August 27 with Aussie stars Molly Picklum and Jack Robinson both chasing their world title glory, all on Kayo. Okay, it's time for the service of the week, brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. Right now, for Bloke community members only, he has a very special deal. Discount on new and used cars, trade-ins. He's also got, if you live in Southeast Queensland, 15% off services for life. So the only way you can get it, though, is by messaging him on Instagram, LDC_01. There's already been a bunch of people that have messaged him and used it. Trust me, guys, it's a deal only for Bloke community members. No one else can get it. Go to LDC_01, give him a follow, and message Lukey, and he'll take care of you. The service of the week. This is obvious. Everyone knows what this is. It is Nwanga Nituase's pass. This guy is a freak. And the amount of times he's done it this season alone is crazy. Like, this guy has had a career of highlights in like 20 games. It's unbelievable what this guy does. And he just thinks differently. Like, he is not afraid to take the 1% play that most other players go, you know what, I'm going to hold the ball, I'm going to get down to the ground. He just goes, no, I've got another way I'm going to handle this. I'm going to flick it around my back. It's going to land in the breadbasket of, was it Toya, I think?
Toya.
One of the great part, like, I can't express to you how hard that is to do on the fly, and for it to not go forward, for it to be a perfect spiral, for it to land exactly where it needs to land. This guy is a special, special, special talent.
Yeah, and it was obviously the pass of the week, but if he didn't do that, I think he'd be in the conversation for that offload he did as well.
Yeah.
Throwing it back infield.
Yep.
Like, the amount of, like you said, he's done it a few times this season. Like, he did it a few times and a half in that game.
Mate.
It was unbelievable to watch the stuff that he can do, and I can't believe the Roosters don't just give him early ball more often.
Yeah.
The amount of ball he lacks is crazy to me. There's a few, they've, in the last few weeks, they get down to the last 15 minutes and they let him roam a little bit. I'd be letting him go.
Yeah. It's like when the pressure builds for the Roosters, they go, oh, let's go to Nwanga Nituase. Yes. It's like, do it from the start.
Yeah.
Because every time he gets the ball, something's happening around him. He's just so, like, what's crazy is you would see a flick pass like that from a, 6-foot winger that's 90 kilos or whatever. Not from a bloke that's 6'3", 100 kilos, crazy athleticism. It's just crazy. Timmy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, freak. The offload he throws, like, there are lots of people in the game that can do it, but when they do it, it comes off 1 in 3 times. Nwanga Nituase does it with the confidence of a dummy half passing to his halfback, putting it on the chest.
Yeah.
Like, the control of it is ridiculous when he does it. I have no idea how he manages to do it every single time. And just around the Roosters and utilising him, it just blows my mind that you've got this, one of the best strike weapons in the game on your edge, and they sort of get him roaming. Well, I don't think they get him roaming. I think he gets to the end of games when they're behind and chasing points. Like in this game, they were behind about 16 or so points with about 5 minutes to go. And you saw Nwanga Nituase roaming across the field and getting involved and getting his hands on the ball because he's like, well, we're desperate. I have to now. Do this from the start.
Yep.
Find ways to get him more involved. Give him more of a license because he's just being wasted out there. But some of the moments of magic, he's too good to be sitting out there and not being utilised.
Yeah. What do you think, mate? The flick pass.
Unbelievable. Shout out to his other offload as well. I thought they were magnificent. But just to round him out, we spoke about Ethan Strange potentially being on that plane at the end of the season. I reckon Mark's going to be on there as well on the wing. He's been unbelievable.
His upside is just, and also like as a game, any way we can try to keep him in the game, I think it's a big win for it. So, listen, if you want service that good, go to Aspley Mazda. They're the best in the business. Go to Luke Camilleri. As I said, special discount. And also you can message him, ask for trade-in prices. He'll take care of you. Whatever you want in regards to cars, Lukey will take care of you. Give him a message, LDC_01. Make sure to do it before the offer is over. It's not going to be around forever. Okay, on to the next segment, which is the Round 25 review. Rabbitohs defeat the Dragons 40-0 at Accor Stadium. Man, it's like genuinely as much praise you can give a team, Rabbitohs, and also as much disappointment as you can have for another team. Now, if the Dragons had have lost 22-10 or 22-4, I'd be like, it's fine. No issue. The Dragons have had a good year. But to lose 40-0 to that Rabbitohs side, that is really concerning that they still have this in them, the Dragons. I thought this was gone from their game. And I know earlier in the year they had a big loss against the Roosters and Dolphins. But the Roosters and Dolphins were flying at that stage. So but this kind of game this team's got close to beating the Bulldogs, beat the Storm, beat the Raiders, and then they go get beaten 40-0. Now, granted, I understand they were missing some key players, but so were the Rabbitohs. Now, onto the Rabbitohs, mate. When they get their full strength back, it is going to be a problem because next year, if they just have a few injuries, they've got a whole reserve grade side with NRL experience ready to go. It is going to be a problem next year for teams with the Rabbitohs with a full strength.
Yeah, I think the Bunnies are going to be very hard to beat next year. I said it this year about them. Won this game 40-0, whatever, but it's just like the squad that they've got, if they're just all on the field, like now that you've added Brandon Smith in, I cannot believe Keon Colantongi came back from that injury early and played 70 fucking minutes. What a maniac. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's his ability, he has played so well in the middle, it would be sacrilege to put him back out on the edge. Insane to put him back out on the edge.
I don't think that conversation can even be had at Heffernan.
Surely not.
No way. Even when Cheese came back for his first game the other day, he played 60 minutes as well.
Yeah.
The upside in this side, Cody Walker's walking on the field to play 40 minutes, dominating sides and strolling back off.
Yeah. I actually don't mind that tactic, of just getting that first 20 minutes just to fend your ass off and then get him, as the game softens up, bring him on. And also, it's hard to, rugby league's all about rhythms. You kind of get into a certain rhythm. When Cody Walker comes on, it's a totally different rhythm because you haven't got that first 20 minutes to kind of experience what he's working with. Timmy, what do you think of the game?
Yeah, just quickly on the Dragons first, abysmal. It was a terrible performance. And to be 40-0, they will just be... The fun will be filthy at them for obvious reasons. End of the season done. They've been up for a long time, played some really good footy. They lost 3 forwards last week, so their injury ward, DeBellin, Selle, Stewart, Suar, Sully, Sagranis, Couchman, Egan, Finau, Holmes. I'm not too devastated in terms of what the Dragons have produced this year, and it's a blip on the radar, but so be it. The Bunnies, though, we've said in recent weeks that they're shaping so well for next year if they can just keep players on the park, and this was them at their brilliant best. A 95% completion rate in those conditions. It had team down rain for about 2 or 3 days leading into this fixture. It held off at times a little bit throughout the game, which was great, but there was so much water in the surface, as we saw. To put on a 40-0 performance and complete at 95%, incredible.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And it does go back to that when Wayne Bennett was asked about the wooden spoon. And he basically, I'm not even going to answer that. And that can go one of 2 ways. That can be the meme at the end of the year when they do win the spoon. But clearly Wayne Bennett, and rightly so, has the confidence to go, it's not even a possibility. That's it. And granted, it's Wayne Bennett, so he should have that confidence with everything he's done. But still, with the amount of injuries they've got, to be that confident that we're not going to get even close to the wooden spoon, that's got some faith in the playing roster. Because even still, as I said, I know the Dragons were missing some people, but if you read out the Rabbitohs missing list, it's pretty much the same.
I think as well, when Wayne made that comment, like competing with the Gold Coast Titans for the spoon, and the Gold Coast are shambles, don't get me wrong, but the side that Wayne had on paper at that point compared to the Titans side, I'd argue the Titans side is much better.
Well, okay.
Guys that he actually had available.
Yeah, well, this is their starting spine. Humphreys, Ward, Gray, Havili.
Yeah.
Like, that could be a New South Wales Cup starting spine. Don't get me wrong, they played outstanding, but I'm just, like, that could be.
If Ward was at the Dragons still, he wouldn't be making their cup side.
Yeah, fair.
Like, he wouldn't be there.
Yep, that's fair.
But yeah, Bunny's injury ward, Ravalawa, Bentley Hape, Murray, Whiten, Sullivan, Graham, LeBlanc, Moali, Totola. It's...
Oh.
And like, even then, players like Keon coming back, Cody
Yep.
Walker coming back, they're fresh back from injury, so they're not anywhere near 100%.
Yeah. It just an incredible performance from the Rabbitohs. We'll get into specifics, but mate, just thoughts on the game, Hammy?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a shock, to be honest. I thought it was going to be, a lot closer than that. Dragons has been a bit of a nuisance value team for some of the teams, in the 8. So to lose so badly to a team that have been battling so much, so many injuries, it's came as a little bit of a shock, but definitely some upsides there for the Rabbitohs for next year. And some of those depth players actually stepped up and played really well.
Just before getting into the specifics, and Roo, you had a really good post on it, I think it must have been on Thursday night, just around the depth and the opportunities that this has given the Bunnies. It said moving into next year and looking at the silver lining and things, because of the injury war and the casualty war they've had this year, the reps they've got in to these young blokes that a lot of them who have played a lot of their games from this year won't be in their starting 17 next year, but when they're called upon, and this full squad should be competing, I think, for a top 4 spot next year. When they're called upon, they'll be ready to rock.
Yeah, and when you have a look through that side, like there will be players like Isaiah Tass, who's, I imagine he'd play 20-odd games this year. Like, he's not going to be in the starting side. He's going to be 1 or 2 injuries away from getting in. I imagine that Jacob Host will be very similar. Like, when they're at full strength next year, he'll probably make a bench spot. But, like, Hubner might not be able to make this side. Once you get Cheese, Cam Murray...
Potentially Dave Fafita.
Yeah, like, if Dave Fafita's there, like, what do you do then?
Surely you play him through the middle. Bring him off the bench and just go, mate, I need to go skits.
Sure, then you're going to have a lot of good players from this year that aren't even going to get a look. Like, the cup side's going to be unreal.
Yeah. It's so good to see for South. It in such a devastating year, if you end the year strong, it can just change everything. It really can. Like, if they had fallen off a cliff and come second last or whatever, you're going into next year going, oh. Whereas if they keep like playing like this, geez, that gives you confidence for next year. Yeah,
and as well, like, you've got guys like Ewan Aiken that can play multiple positions. Like, if Talis Duncan plays centre the entire year, is he a top 10 centre? Like, he's killing it at the moment. He hasn't played a bad game there.
Mate,
People
seriously.
scoff at that, but performance alone, he has handled every task that's come his way.
Mate, I said form-wise, whether it's centre or back rower, just form-wise in the last month of rugby league, he's been one of the better back rowers or centres, whatever you want to name. In regards to individual performances... the obvious one, Jai Gray. I mean, the amount of work this bloke got through. So he ran for 350 metres, obviously had a try, 81 post contact, but he ran for 350 metres without a line break. So that was pure just kick returns and hit ups. He was absolutely phenomenal. He just relieves so much pressure for a team that has probably struggled for quite a while to have big outside backs that get you out of trouble. And the modern game has just moved so far towards that, where most teams now have 2 huge wingers, even a fullback that can get through quite a lot of work. And I think just Jai Gray relieves a lot of pressure there for him. If I had to be nitpicky, definitely needs to work on his ball playing. But that's a very small, that's a normal progression of a rookie coming into first grade. He was absolutely phenomenal. And I really do think that it's going to be such a hard decision with Trell and him in the side. I find it hard to keep him out of the side. I just wonder whether you can still use Trell in good ball at fullback, but use Jai Gray kick returns potentially. Now, I know we've been up and down, or at least me anyway. I've been toing and froing with this one because I don't know what the answer is, because Latrell at his best is one of the best fullbacks in the competition. So, you put him at fullback. But this team without Jai Gray in it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I think Latrell is the better fullback.
For sure.
I'm not hearing any... But I think there's a lot of people that push back on that because of these stats and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But as you just said, the one thing that I think Jai, when he's playing that fullback role, needs to work on is his ball playing. I think it's part of what's making it so hard for Alex Johnson at the moment to find the trial line, him and Talis playing there. But, mate, like the games that I've been out there to watch, like I was out there to watch Melbourne v Souths a couple of weeks ago, and Latrell was at fullback, and Like, he doesn't need 3-on-2s. He needs 3-on-3s and he'll get you an overlap.
Yeah.
Like, his ball playing is just, like, very few in the game.
Is there a way to have both, though? You know, is there a way to he goes to fullback in good ball so you still get that kind of ball playing?
I
Or
think you play Jai at 6, personally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? We're going to continue having the conversation. I dare say we're going to be having it round one next year. But, like, he's 78 kilos, 170 centimetres in those conditions, running for 350 metres.
Insane.
I mean, I think one thing's definitely solved. We spoke last week about Latrell Mitchell and how many games he's missed since joining the Rabbitohs. And they do what they've done with what Manly have done with Turbo, where whenever he's coming back from injury, just ease him back through centre. Whether that's 5, 6, 7 games, as long as it takes, especially these soft tissue injuries, and play him in that hybrid role where, you know, he's the key playmaker in attacking territory. I look at, like, the longer term and what they do. I just think, can Jai Gray win you a comp at fullback? Yeah, he potentially can. But if Latrell Mitchell stays fit, he will win you a comp at fullback, I think. So I still think next year Latrell's the number one. But, yeah, I might be through. I think Jai Gray, 6 could be the go. Cody Walker at 7, especially Cody Walker
Humphries
getting the
at
back
9.
end of his career. Humphries at 9 or 14, whatever that might look like. Depends what they want to do with Mamazelos. But Humphries also a great 14, so they have
kicking game,
options.
Humphries.
But, yeah, I think Gray could be 6.
And Matty, what do you reckon, mate?
Oh, it is so tough.
It is a tough one.
It is seriously so tough. I'm starting to lean towards keep Gray at fullback so we can get all those run meters, which we need, and which Latrell doesn't do and shouldn't do. He's the Ferrari, as we've all said. So I'm kind of inclined to put Latrell maybe at 6, maybe at centre, and like just spend the off-season making a plan of what happens when we get in good ball, what happens when we're here, what happens, and get them both involved in the game, because I think they both should be in the 13. But when we're in good ball, Latrell needs to be sniffing around there at all times.
I think the other thing is too, like you get to the end of this game, you go, Jai Gray, 350 metres, like, Latrell doesn't do that. And it's like, yeah, you're right, he doesn't. But, Souths have never had, over the last 5 or 6 years, they've never had outside backs that run for a heap of metres. It's not how Wayne Bennett plays his footy with them. Like, even that season Latrell got injured, they went all the way to the grand final. Like, from memory, Blake Taff wasn't, he wasn't running for your 250 metres from memory. AJ's never been that guy. Like, it's great when Jai does it, and on the stat sheet it looks great, but like, it's not like when Latrell's on the field, this team sucks. It's not like when Latrell's on the field, I don't feel anyway that they're desperately missing those metres coming out of the end.
Yeah, it's such a tough one. I'm with you boys in regards to, like, Latrell at fullback. He's one of the best fullbacks in the game. You want him at his best. You want him there, but at the same time, is there a world where you can still get his good ball stuff and you get Jai Gray's metres? If you could mix those together, you might have are you a better team with both of them in it, or are you a better team with only one of them in it? We've
seen in a short sample size Latrell playing centre that you can. We've seen it with Tom Trbojevic. We've seen it in the last 3 weeks with Stephen Crichton that you can potentially get the best of both worlds with Latrell at centre whilst ball playing.
What do you reckon, Hammy?
About Latrell going to fullback, I like the idea of having him as the kind of the roaming centre kind of thing when you get into to good field position. Just there's no point having him do all that hard work, and he's had a lot of soft tissue injuries. If you've got a guy that's going to run 350 metres, let him go back there, do all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Well, and then that leads to the next question. If you're going to do that, okay, so who misses out? AJ, Campbell Graham, Jack White, or Ty Munro?
Probably Munro, I guess. just because of experience, but you don't want to lose a guy like that as well, because he could be next 10 years for you.
I wouldn't do that. I'd have either Latrell at 6, Cody at 7, or I'd have Whiten at 6, Cody at 7, and then Whiten and Latrell can just interchange throughout the game. Whoever's 6, whoever's centre.
I like that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'd keep them all in there.
Would you want Trell in the front line making 20 tackles?
See, that's another thing. Like, there's just so many moving parts to this. But if it wasn't for the defence, I'd say boom, put Latrell at 6. It's an absolute no-brainer. Having him at centre is probably a little bit easier. I know it's like, defensive decisions and all that, but just getting gassed and stuff. So that's why I'm inclined to put him at centre. But I just think there has to be a plan. From November 1, there has to be a plan.
Jai Gray's played a heap in the halves in coming 5th grade, yeah?
Yep.
You know what? I'm trying that in pre-season.
See how it goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, in regards to, speaking of halves, mate, how good was Ashton Ward? This guy there's not much of him. He looks young as anything, but geez, he just looked he just did everything with class. You know what I mean? He created space for himself. He had good tempo. As we always say with good halves, they look like they've got a lot of time. And on the weekend, especially his connection with Tom Fletcher there for a period, he just looked outstanding. And what's a good sign for the Rabbitohs is, like, I reckon when coming into this year, I reckon Ashton Ward, they probably internally were like, he might debut in 2 or 3 years. For him to already be playing like this in first grade, mate, and he's a goer too. He never backs out of contact. He puts his body on the line. Like, the depth that they're building there, like, he would be below Humphreys. He would be below Sullivan. Whiten potentially, you know what I mean? And yet he's in first grade playing this good footy. It's just a great sign. I thought it was outstanding on the weekend.
I think if South Sydney are honest, I reckon like this time last year, I'm not sure if Ashton Moore would have been on the radar to play first grade.
There you go.
I've watched him. You know, him and Josh are the same age, so I've seen him play. You know, once a year for the last few years, and like, good player, but like the Dragons did let him go.
Yeah,
he's handy, but the way that he's come on, like, he played in a trial at the start of the year, which was very impressive. He really stood up in that game. And, you know, since then, he's come into first grade. He's played a few games now, and I feel like every week he just does something that you go, okay, there's a player here, and then he just put it all together in this game and looked really good. But he's another one that he'll go back to reserve grade next year, and when there's injuries, I'll call upon him. He's got this experience in the back pocket.
What do you think, Timmy?
Yeah, I just love little blokes in the NRL punching above their weight and doing it, especially in the defensive line, in the front line. And Ashton Ward, it just fascinates me so much with how they go. And look, I haven't watched him playing at Cog Roval in New South Wales Cup, or when he was at the Dragons and doing it with the Bunnies and this sort of stuff, but didn't miss a tackle against the Dragons. He's 74 kilos, 17 games in Cup this year. He's averaged 1.8 missed tackles per game. For a bloke, a 21-year-old, 74 kilos, defending the front line, like, that astounds me.
Well, on the weekend, 31 tackles, as you said, 0 misses. The best halves in the competition don't have those stats.
No.
Like, that is amazing. Amazing stuff. And just shows you how far technique can take you.
Oh. Yeah, and if you go back a few weeks ago, he played against the Titans, and I was out there on that side watching, and Kieran Foran and Beau Fermor went at him all game. And I think Fermor did score 1 try through him. Fuck, he just showed up every single time.
Yeah. And, like, with stuff like that, and I know you're not saying this, but, like, if an edge back rower scores 1 try a game on one of my halves, I'm like, that's kind of expected. Like, it's almost like a winger's going to jam in once in the half. As long as the only thing that I can't cop as a fan, I guess, is when they don't put their bodies in front. That's when I just go, just put it in front. Just get in front.
They put the body in front, and a big barnstorming back rower muscles their way over the line, but you sort of got contact with him and they fall over the top of you. It's like, so be it. Like, that's what rugby league is. It's getting back rowers at halves.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mate, I thought, outside of that, I thought Humphrey's kicking game, that's because, like, Cody Walker doesn't necessarily have the longest boot. Jackie Whiten, you know, there's memes about his kicking game at times. He can kick really long, but sometimes he can kick it out.
Can find Rosette.
But Humphrey's kicking game, I just think it's going to complement Cody Walker's kicking game, whether it's at 9 or whether it's at 6 or 7 or whatever. I just thought that he was, anytime they got a bit under pressure, his big boot just got him out of it. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, he was good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And plays to those conditions perfectly.
Yeah. Perfectly. And he's a good, solid body in defence as well. He's another one. He made, 27 tackles, only 1 miss. Like, that's good. Like, so between them, they made 57 tackles and only missed 1 in the halves, in the wet. Like, that's outstanding stuff. Who stood out for you, mate?
I mean, you touched on a couple there. Tallis Duncan, just crazy. Doesn't really matter where they put him. He's just lifts another year. Over 200 metres in this game, 90 post contact. And
3 line break assists.
Yes, 3 line breakers. Yeah, would have minded 1 or 2, maybe little dishes off to Alex Johnson, just getting a bit closer to that record. But you know, all things considered, I thought he played really well. Yeah, his last month has just been outstanding when they've been decimated with injury.
Yeah, I spoke about this on Friday, and you know, you always have to be accountable as a player, but sometimes certain players suit certain coaches. And you know, we've been saying for so long, Tallis Duncan needs a coach to put him in and let him learn his trade. It doesn't have to be straight away, but like, have a plan for him. He's coming off the bench. He gets 20 minutes on an edge, and then the next week he gets 20 minutes. The next week it's 25. The next week it's 30. And that's exactly what Wayne Bennett's done. He brought him off the bench, got to about round 10, put him on the edge, let him stay there until he found his confidence. And now he's one of the form players in the competition, Tallis Duncan. Like, and this is where he's at now. Like, as he gets older, he's just going to get stronger, more physical. And also, this is what he's doing in a team that is decimated by injury. What's he going to be doing when he's getting quick play of the balls off other people all the time? What's he going to be doing when Cam Murray gets him in quick play of the ball and he gets to hit unders behind the markers? Like, he had a try assist, 219 metres, 3 line break assists, 90 post contact. Like, that's, as a centre, if Herbie Farnworth had that, we would say that's an unbelievable game. He's doing it as a back rower, playing centre.
I think the other thing with him as well is, I think you can tell with Cody Walker, he's one of those ball players that if you're one of his outside backs or back rowers that he trusts, you get a lot of football.
Yeah, yep.
And I think you've seen that with Tallis the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Imagine that left edge next year, everyone fit. Cody Walker, he's got Tallis Duncan off his hip on the edge, Jack White at centre, AJ on the wing, Latrell sweeping.
Oh my God, bro. I will say, I'll never forget, we had Jai Arrow on the show years ago, like would have been like 3 years ago now. And we're like, which young fella like really excites you? And he was like, Tallis Duncan, because he's a dog. He loves it. And that was like 3 or 4 years ago. So, and Jai Arrow, he is a dog. He loves it. Now, speaking of Jai Arrow, I want to give him a shout out for this year. In a year where they've had so many injuries, he has not stopped trying. Like, I admire the fact that, so against the Broncos, they get towel up and he pushed, I think, Ezra after he scored. Like, I like that he cares that much. Even though, and Munster actually did it on the weekend too, to one of the Bulldogs. I want my players to be pissed and lash out a little bit. As long as it's not a punch or whatever, it's just a push. I like the fact that Jai Arrow can be 40-0 down and still be blowing up about a try scored against him. And that's his attitude he showed all year.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want. I think he walked off a field a few weeks ago without shaking hands or something or he stormed or he did something that,
got in an argument with a fan.
Yeah, like he copped a bit of stick. I'm like, fuck. Players smile and have photos, you all blow up about it. When a guy actually cares and cares about the fucking result.
And plays like he cares too.
That.
Yeah.
The Gold Coast Titans would kill for a player with that attitude right now.
Well, he was at the Titans running for like 250 metres a game.
Jeez, the crowd gave it to him the other day at the Titans.
Oh, really?
Fucking hilarious. I got stuck into him. Jai was just loving it.
Yeah. Listen, great win for the Rabbitohs. To be honest, although it's a very disappointing loss and they need to get these kind of games out of their system, I do understand what you're saying in regards to how many injuries they had. If I'm Plano, I'm just hitting the delete button because I would just be like almost trying to tell the team that was a blip on the radar. You know what I mean? Like, don't internalize that this is who we are. We've just had a totally terrible night at the office. Let's just move forward because they've come so far as a squad. The last thing you want is their confidence to be rattled heading into the back end of the year and then they go into next year a bit not confident. So even though it was a really, really poor performance and they should be extremely disappointed, hit the delete button. Men in black, just forget it.
Yeah, well, it was their first loss by more than 7 points since round 15. The 3 games prior, there was that game against the Warriors where they lost 3 forwards by the 30-minute mark and they lost by 4 points in New Zealand. Before that, they beat the Sharks and the Raiders. It was a shit night. It was awful. You put it well, Campy, men in black it.
Yeah.
But if you're Shane Fleming, you say, look, we'll forget about this, but we're finishing on a high. The next 2 weeks, that was your bed shit. This not only can this not happen again, but we're going out and we're competing to the final whistle for the final weeks because that was your get a jail free card. That's gone.
Yeah, I'm with you. What do you reckon, Hammy? In regards to Dragons, how would you handle it?
Dragons, I think you've just got to just put that one to the side, a bit of a blip on the radar. They've played some good footy. They've been a nuisance team. There's some teams that are well entrenched in the 8. So this is like a bit of a bed shit, but for a team that can't make it and stuff, like probably expect 1 or 2 of these at the end of the year. But I don't think it's a full blown panic stations.
I think the other thing with the Dragons is, as Tim said, like they've just been in so many close games this year. Like the Dragons have been playing at like semi-final footy just about all year because they just have to hang on in every single game. Nothing comes easy to them. I think you are going to see some of these games here and there. And as you said, mate, I agree. I think you just put it in the back pocket, you move on. Like, especially, I think we need to appreciate too. Like, they went to New Zealand last week. They lost 3 players to a HIA and they got beat by 4 points over there. Like, that would have taken a lot out of the tank. In hindsight, this actually makes complete sense.
Pretty short turnaround too, right? Yeah. Like Thursday night game, they played the Warriors. That was on Friday, so 6 day, not too bad. But when you're going over to NZ,
when you're going over to NZ and you've had such a rough year because most games are tight. So I will say though, the only thing that I think that they need to make sure they can't keep doing this year after year where they have these just Barry Crockers, like 3 or 4 of them a year. So it was Roosters, Dolphins, now South. If they can just get rid of those Barry Crockers, like they'll be in the 8. I will say your man, Jacob Halangahu, mate, lot of talent there. 11 runs, 124 metres, 49 post contact, 45 tackles, 0 misses, 0 errors.
He's a proper player, man.
Mate, not bad in a 40-0 loss.
Yeah, he's and that I think that is the one silver lining I was going to take from this game from the Dragons, that he gets his opportunity, plays 80 minutes, shows he can well and truly handle it. Mate, he's fucking the real deal.
Yeah, wow. And like he's what would he be? You reckon 8th down the pecking order in regards to like people you expected to debut this year when you go the young forwards? You got the Couchman brothers, Egan, Stewart.
Yeah. And I from talking to people at the Dragons this year, I don't think they expected him to debut this season.
Yeah, he's 18 in the forwards. That's crazy.
Well, even like I interviewed him after the under 21s Origin the other day, and I sort of spoke to him after, and he sort of said, I don't think he was convinced he was going to play first grade this year too. Well,
as an 18-year-old in the forwards, it's very, very rare that you debut so young.
80 minutes in week 3 and handles himself.
Yeah, and those kind of stats in a 45 tackles, 0 misses as an edge back rower in a 40-0 loss. Yeah. It's crazy.
And he's, if I was to describe, the positives of him, it's that he's got upside in attack. He's a really good line runner. I'm pretty sure he was actually playing on the wrong side to what he usually plays as well. So, I think he could genuinely be like a captain of this club eventually.
Yeah, okay. Just want to shout out to Damien Cook. 60 tackles, 0 misses. Absolutely insanity.
Wow.
Absolutely insanity. Alrighty, move on to the next game. Oh, yeah. As I said earlier, sometimes you just get caught up in footy and you take it a bit for granted, and then a Friday night comes along and just wakes you up and you go, this is why we watch rugby league. This Friday night of footy, it doesn't get better. I can't remember a better Friday of footy.
I think it is the best. Like, take out finals, whatnot, regular season, I think it's the best Friday night footy we've ever seen.
Like,
it's literally semi-finals come early.
Yep. And both teams performed. It was tight matches. Mate, what an incredible Friday night of footy. Don't forget, guys, 6 p.m. tonight, we've got a brand new blend, and it's for Father's Day, World's Best Dad blend, and we've also got deals on Bloke undies, high premium undies are discounted. We've got slides, we've got stubby coolers, we've got thongs. Make sure to be there. 6 p.m. tonight. Okay, Raiders v the Panthers. You know what's my biggest takeaway from this? It's not the fact that the Raiders actually won, because I thought they could. It's actually that I don't even think they played that well for themselves. I actually think, put it this way, when they were losing when it was looking like they might lose, I was going to come here and say they're going to be super disappointed because they actually could have won that game because they didn't play anywhere near their best. What's exciting for Raiders fans is they still haven't hit their potential and they still found a way to win. The amount of errors coming out of their own end or errors when they were attacking the Panthers try line, and they still just somehow hung in there. It is like they are the real deal, and if they can manage to click over 80 minutes, they are going to be so hard to beat. Timmy, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, the miracle of Mudgee. One of the great games of footy of all time, and I say that as a clearly biased Raiders supporter, but either way, even if Nathan Cleary nailed that field goal and golden point, it would have been an unbelievable game of footy. It got the most ridiculous ending almost of all time in a regular season game. It had everything, so good for bush footy to experience a game like that. And honestly, the amount of kids out in the bush that'll start playing footy or continue playing footy, whatever it might be, off the back of being at the ground for that game, it'll be immense, the impact it has out in grassroots rugby league in the country. So, but yeah, the Raiders down by 10 points with 20 minutes to go against Penrith, off what they've done in the last 5 years, playing for a top 4 spot, to fight their way back into that game and win it, it just makes you so proud as a supporter. And the Raiders, they've always had grit. Well, at least for the last few years, they've had plenty of grit about them. We know that. But now they've got the class. They've got the strike power to turn the grit into come from behind wins and beating the best teams in the competition. And, things are just... they're lining up a little bit too nicely for us. Yeah. We had the bye last week. We've just had our early finals hit out against Penrith, which meant everything, and that'll have us well prepped for finals. We've got, we had Tamale back from injury due back this week. I don't know if he played in the weekend. Matty Nicholson returned on the weekend in Cup and played. So the roster's looking pretty good. If there's anyone with niggles, there'll be an opportunity again for Ricky Stewart to rest them now that we're locked into top 2. So things are going swimmingly, sort of waiting, not for the bubble to burst, but like everything's going well.
Do you agree, though, that they actually didn't play near their best?
No, they've got more in them, for sure.
That's what I was so surprised at. Like, I thought they would have to play 80 minutes of their best footy to beat a Panthers side. I reckon they probably played, I'll say 8 out of 10. I'll say 8 out of 10. If they can get to a 10 out of 10 come grand final time, and like you watch the game, they're one of the very few. So last week when the Storm played Penrith, the Storm were just 25-metre sets, 25-metre sets. When the Raiders held the ball, they couldn't contain them physically. And that's that blows apart people's systems that they're so used to building pressure by keeping you in your own end. Whereas the Raiders were just too big and powerful through the middle. And don't get me wrong, the Panthers handled it because they're one of the greatest, if not the greatest side of all time. But it is a trump card that Raiders do have over every other team, that when they hold the ball and get physical, at the very least they can make 40, 50 metres a set. Whereas some of these other teams, doesn't matter how physical they get, they can't beat that Penrith wall.
And you talk about, like you've mentioned a few times already, Kempy, just that competitive, the mongrel about them that you need to win games of footy and that care factor. Almost this entire Raiders outfit is like littered with blokes like Tommy Starling, Joe Tarpany, Hudson Young, blokes who want to get in the fight, and to them, at least it appears, it's win at all costs. And that's what you need to win a comp.
Now, I hate to be Debbie Downer. I will say the one nitpick I have heading into finals footy is just Fogarty needs to nail his moments. I think there's been a few times where in his career where the pressure's been there for him to convert, drop goal or whatever. If they are to win a premiership, he's going to need to ice opportunities he has. Now, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that he can't do it, but there were multiple times where he probably could have iced that game. And as I said, this is me being really nitpicky. I thought he had a great game, but he needs to ice those moments.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think obviously that kick at the end, that was one that he probably hits 8 or 9 times out of 10 for me, Fogarty. Just on the Raiders as well. Like I agree with everything you guys said. I don't think they played their best. And I look at it and I go, geez, the Panthers scored 2 tries off kicks. One was a shit rebound that the Blaze Stallion put in, a poor kick in my opinion. The other one they scored off a scrum. But the only points the Penrith Panthers scored in that game was off kicks and off a scrum as well. Like, I think the Raiders can take a lot of confidence out of that. And the game went to Golden Point. It ended in fantastic style. Once again, if Fogarty hits that goal, which he usually does 8 out of 10 times, the game doesn't even go to Golden Point.
That's what I mean.
I think 8 out of 10 is being conservative. Like, he should be hitting that 29 out of 32.
I think the Raiders walk away from this game, and I'm sure Ricky would have challenged them during that bye week and said, hey, this is sudden death. We have to win this game. This is finals footy as far as we're concerned. And they stood and they delivered. I think the Raiders can take so much out of this.
Wasn't it funny? Like, when they were down 10, they did everything they could to get themselves back in the game and win it. Then when it got to the last few minutes, they did everything they could to lose it. Like, there was a Hudson Young offload in ridiculous territory that we somehow got a result out of. There was, honestly, even just like, credit to him for having a crack, and he hit it quite well, but just Kayo Weeks, to your point of Fogarty, going to Kayo Weeks for that drop goal opportunity at the clutch, like, that has to be Jamal Fogarty in my eyes. I thought it went to the wrong player. And then there was the Fogarty conversion as well. Everything they could to lose it after fighting their way back into the game. It was a roller coaster.
Oh, man. And I'm sitting there going, fucking Guru, Golden Point bullshit. These Raiders, he's got them on the take because they are trying to lose.
He was stoked with that missed goal.
Yeah. Just that's not a good footy fan, if you ask me, to be honest.
One other thing, speaking of good footy fans, how good was it to see a mousetrap?
Yes.
Got some movement, Kempy.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that was just my one little nitpick is that, you know, that's what makes Penrith great, Storm great as well. They ice those moments. Like, Cleary's icing that that conversion, but I think they'll be able to sort it by the time finals footy rolls around. Just quickly on the Penrith Panthers, then we'll get back to the Raiders. Look, I know history would suggest they can't win it outside the 4. However, they've won 4 premierships in a row. What's more likely, winning it outside the 4 or winning 4 premierships? Penrith Panthers are the one team that buck trends and you know, break statistics. So I still think they can win it outside the 4. I do agree with Ivan. He said last week they are missing their edge a little bit. Like, they're missing, and when I say edge, I mean like their sharpness, their killer blow, because they've been in both games and probably could have had that knockout blow that maybe in last year and the year before they've had the knockout blow. They're just that final push they just don't seem to have at the moment. Now, maybe it's because we've got to remember these guys had a terrible start to the year and they've just been up for basically 3 months now, nearly. Up for 3 months. So maybe it's just a little bit of fatigue creeping in. But all in all, you get that close to a team that's number one in the competition. I'm not too disappointed with the performance from the Penrith Panthers.
I think my only concern with Penrith is that, as you said, they've been up for 3 months. The last 2 weeks, they've had to play 2 game of the years. Yeah. Both went to Golden Point. They lost both of them. Just takes a lot out of the tank. Like they're playing semi-finals footy now, and finals footy, like they started a week ago at finals footy, and it was still a month away. Yeah. And they're gonna have to win 4 games on the trot to win a comp. And I agree with you, mate. Like they're the one team that I think that they can do it. But I am just getting a little bit concerned that it is taking a lot out of the tank, and it doesn't get any easier. They play Canterbury this Thursday night. I think
far out. We know what that
stay
last
around
game
to face the music, but if that one goes to Golden Point, I won't be shocked.
Yeah,
Kempy's going to block out. He's going to go
Golden Point.
He would.
It's interesting, isn't it? As you said, boys, just they've come off 2 absolute gut busters. They are now looking like they're probably going to struggle to get an opportunity to rest players and players who they looks like need rests. Into the Doggies this week, it's going to be another gut buster. 3 of those on the trot into the Dragons in round 27, where, especially coming off the performance they just had, the Dragons, you can imagine the message Fano's going to be sending to his boys going out to that going, screw Penrith, let's make them fight for every inch of this game of footy so they're busted going into finals. We'll see how things line up this week with results and what Penrith look like. Maybe they are locked into that 5th, 6th spot and they can rest players next week. But even then, they're coming off losses. Do you want to be resting players going into week 1 of finals when you can't afford to have a loss? Yeah. It's, as I said, that inch, it's changed everything.
I do wonder as well, like as far as resting players in round 27, like the Panthers have shown over the years, they can rest guys, bring them back, and they sort of fall back into place. You're not playing at Penrith Park anymore. Does the home final mean as much to them? Well, it did. Like, they're really gaining much at CommBank.
In terms of if they were to drop to 7th or 8th.
Yeah, like if they're sitting in 6th and they've got round 27, like I don't know how much of an incentive it is for them.
That's
Would
a good
you rather
point.
not just rest your guys? Like if you're playing out there at Penrith, I think that changes everything. They're not playing there. They're playing at CommBank.
That's a really good
point.
It's
fair to say.
Yeah. I'd rest.
I don't think CommBank's been like a fortress for them this year by any means.
Yeah. Anyone but Penrith, I'd be like, when you come in with a few losses behind you into finals, we need to get some cohesion. We need to get our flow on. I'm with you, Roo. I think Penrith, they're a different beast. They know their systems. I think they'll go, no, we'll be right come week 1 of finals, and Ivan will back his players. I think that week's rest probably is more important.
Yeah, that's a great take because you're right. Like that's like an away game for them pretty much, and they got beaten by the Storm last week. They don't have a great record there compared to their old record. So yeah, it's a great shout. All right, we'll go through the Raiders, then we'll go through the individual players for the Penrith Panthers. I thought Starling actually had a pretty poor start to the game. He was decent in defence, but there was some balls going to the ground or whatever, but he eventually picked it back up. I thought Smithies came on and he had an error immediately that really hurt them. But what I liked about the Raiders is even players that had these errors, they didn't allow it to affect the rest of their game. And that's a part of what I think Ricky Stewart's instilled in these guys is where they don't really drop their heads when they do make an error. Whereas I feel like a few years ago, the Raiders could be very up and down, even within games. With this current roster, like they have just so much belief, regardless of where they are on the field. Like they're 10 behind the reigning 4-time premiers. And not for a second did they not believe that they can win that game. Not for a second. And that's a special thing to have in a group. And you could argue that's the unique thing all premiership winning teams have, is this unyielding confidence no matter where they are on the field. And it seems like the Raiders have got it.
I'll tell you, if the Raiders do go on to win a comp this year, which would be an unbelievable story, mate, it'd be one of the more underrated moments in the last few seasons, whether it was a handshake, beer, coffee, whatever it was between Ricky Stewart and Corey Horsburgh, to just sort their shit out, because he has been so important for them this year. And I thought in this game he was enormous. Joe Tarpano would get all the raps, but geez, I thought Horsburgh was big.
Yeah, massive. And like,
imagine if he was playing in the back row for the Dragons right now, like it was rumoured to be, and not in this Raiders side.
Yeah. And he is Canberra. He is Canberra. He plays like a Canberra player. Like, he's got a bit of shit in his game, but he's going to go all day. He's got a motor as well for a big fella. I'm with you, mate. I thought Corey Horsburgh was outstanding, and he's just the kind of player that you need to play Penrith, because he's going to go as low as you want to go. He'll go, and also he gets through a lot of quality work. And then you got him and Tarpanair. Like, geez, Tarpanair's class is just like every big game he goes against now, against the best forwards in the competition, he's nearly winning it. That's how good he is at the moment. Now, I will say I thought Leota was outstanding for the Penrith Panthers. Who stood out for you, mate, in regards to the Raiders?
Yeah, just sort of circling back to Ethan Strange, because we spoke about the moment earlier on and like the big match winner, but it was him all game. Like, here's the difference in this, and there are a few different ones, and there was a moment there, the try that he set up for Simi Sasangi, and it reminded me in a way, don't take this out of context, but of Isaiah Katoa, because Isaiah Katoa, the class that he has and just natural footballing ability, basically with his hands and just the way he sets things up, he just has this ability to make defenders plant their feet. And Ethan Strange had a moment of this of his own. It's a completely different player to Isaiah Katoa, but he did a little in and away on Nathan Cleary for the Sasangi try. Cleary handled it fine, but it forced Isaac Tungo to plant his feet, and it just gave Sasangi that little bit of space on his edge to go bang and score that try out of nowhere as well. And it was brilliant by Ethan Strange. Then you look at the match-leveling try that he scored, where, again, he tends to stick to the left edge of the field a fair bit, Ethan Strange, but swept to the right and played off the back of Fogarty for that brilliant individual try as well. He had moment after moment after moment in this game.
Yeah, he's special, man. And like 19 years old at the moment, he's just going to get better and better. His timing's going to get better. Fogarty's not going to be there next year. But the partnership he has with Sanders is just going to get better each game he plays. And he just suits the modern game so well. Like, his passing is good enough, but just as soon as you get a quick play of the ball, or if you just give him an inch, he'll take it, whether it's with speed or with strength. Because I'm with you, mate. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal this game. And again, against the best defensive side you could say we've ever seen, literally. Like, and he's doing, what do you have, a 2 try assists and a try? Mate, absolutely outstanding. Who stood out for you, mate?
Yeah, I mean, so many good players over the course of the game. There was that one little moment with Hudson Young, which you probably would like that one back, the little offload at the end. But apart from that, he's another one of these guys. Doesn't really matter which pack he comes up against or who it is. I thought he had another really solid game, probably bar that one moment on the weekend. Over 200 metres he went for, and just aimed up. Thought he was really solid. And
I reckon this is a key stat, and what makes Raiders so concerning for most teams: 14 offloads compared to 4, and that just shows you they won the forward battle. They had more meters, they averaged more meters per set, they had more tackle breaks, they had 3 more line breaks, they had more post contact meters. That doesn't happen very often against the Penrith Panthers, and so you can have the best system in the world. Like we see the Panthers do have the best system in the world. But how do you create a system for offloads? Because you can't be up all the time. Because then the next play, if you're up all the time, the next play is going to be quick. And I just think that's going to be a really tough. If you're going to beat the Raiders, you have to win the contact and wrap the ball up. Otherwise, they're just going to keep getting offloads out. And they completed 85% as well, which is they both obviously completed high. But that just shows you they're offloading 14 times a game, but also completing at such a high rate. Just locked in.
Just another small thing about the Raiders last week. Obviously, they had the bye. Team had the week off. I love that the Raiders sent Owen Paddy back to reserve grade. He played about 60 minutes there. Like, he hasn't played more than 20 minutes in, I would assume, pretty much all season, right? He's been coming off the bench and whatnot. So just a little thing that, if something happens in game, that Starling goes down, they need to make a change. Giving him like 60-odd minutes in reserve grade, I think it's really smart coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's better for them to be the main man in reserve grade than be the 10-minute man in first grade, because it's just a totally different ballgame. You're a totally different player if you're coming off the bench to starting.
Yeah, I got a little bit excited when I saw their team list for that game. I didn't get to watch it, but he was actually named at lock.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He played 9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Wow, okay, lock. Interesting. The fact that he got named at lock is interesting. Like, that's even a consideration for him. Interesting. Well, another key stat, the Panthers had 23 ineffective tackles, whereas the Raiders only had 4. 4.
Wow.
Like, that is impressive. So, like, just a bloody good game. And as I said, I actually think that the Raiders can go better. Savage injured on the edge there. So they brought Sasangi and they pushed Chris? No, not Chris. Who'd they push out to the wing outside Sasangi?
Chris went to the wing, I believe. Chris went to the wing and Sasangi went to centre.
And Timoko on the other side and Jet Stewart on the other side.
Yeah.
Sasangi has been like, I don't want to say a revelation, but he has had important moments in big games for you. A guy that wasn't even your starting 17 at the start of the year, playing centre, playing back row, playing whatever you need him to. He's been outstanding.
Revelation isn't the right word, but whatever is 1 degree below that.
Yeah.
Because, mate, like, watching him, like, I remember there was a game that he played last year that I think Ricky hooked him. I think he had 12 missed tackles in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, he had some weeks last year where you just went, fuck, I don't know why Ricky is pursuing with this, but whether it's centre, back row, whatever it might be, I think he stepped in for Hudson Young during the Origin period, did incredibly well.
He started a game last year, I remember, and it might have been during the Origin period or something. Yeah, Hudson might have been out, and he missed like a couple of tackles that were just like amateur. Cannot miss him at that level. And you went far out. Like, as you said, Roo, why are you persisting with him? This year, he's doing a bit of like a Tallis Duncan, where what he's allowing to do, and I've spoken about this time and time again, but the importance of clubs having a back rower who can be that coverage at centre. And, you know, Ben Trebojevic does it, Sifa Talakai does it, Tallis Duncan's doing it, and now Simi Sasangi's doing it at the Raiders, where it allows you to have a 4-forward bench and cover an outside back injury whilst running the 4-4 bench. And Sasangi, like, he re-signed during the week as well. He's turned into a well-beater.
Yeah, mate. To have him as a cover, like, he's a game breaker.
Because if it's not him and we run a 4-forward bench and we're obviously running the 2 hookers, I'm sitting there going like, oh, okay, it's probably like Zach Hosking, which worries me a little bit, a bigger boy sort of thing. But Sasangi being able to do it, we're covered.
Like, you sometimes could play better with Sasangi there. So he's been outstanding. Just a really, really good win for the Raiders. Anyone else?
Just the other thing with the Raiders, just having a look at their New South Wales Cup game on the weekend. They had a few guys they brought in late. So Jersey 21, 22, 23 that all played. Matty Nicholson, Trey Mooney and Solo. Like, just 3 guys that are out and out first graders for me.
Who was the last one?
Pasami Solo.
Oh, yeah, nice.
If he was picked on the bench this week, I wouldn't look twice at it.
Yeah.
Now, I know Hudson Young had quite a few errors in that really poor offload, but still, he had 24 runs, 201 metres, 74 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 3 offloads, 29 tackles. Like, just, again, against that defence, that doesn't happen often.
Yeah, and he, there might be weeks where he has errors or whatnot, but his effort can just never be questioned, and that's what the Raiders are just built on.
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of that, I thought Hosking was... I mean, to be honest, I thought everyone was good, really.
Yeah. The only nitpick that I have, Campy, aside from, inability at times to ice at the end of the game, but was... I still have some big concerns over the edge defence of Timoko and Savage out there. Like, they're getting torn apart a little bit at times, and there was the McLean try through them, which is pretty easy as well. But then again, like, it's a side going well enough that we're nitpicking that they still, as you said, Roo, they only conceded 1 try that wasn't off a kick. So it's like, that was a bad moment, but it's one moment in a game with Casey McLean, who's been scorching plays for the last month.
Yeah, and I will say, I actually thought your edge defence looked much better than it has looked in this game. It looked like the boys were switched on, like they were shadowing the play they need to, then sliding off. Timoko made some good reads as well. But yeah, that's probably... And the high ball is still a question for me. I think your kick defusal was like 27%. So there's still that.
High ball, yeah. High ball's always a concern.
That's probably your Achilles heel at the moment. But now onto the Penrith Panthers. I've got to say, mate, their halves got absolutely worked over. So Blaze Talangi, although I've got to give Blaze Talangi credit, with how far at least his mentality has come, that shot on Savage literally injured him. Like, Blaze Talangi's not pulling that shot off, last year or whatever. But I will say, I've always said that I think sometimes teams go into the game against the Penrith Panthers and just assume that their halves are just the best defenders you've ever seen. But they have holes on their edges. Like, they can make poor reads, miss tackles. And on the weekend, Blaze Talangi missed 10 tackles and Nathan Cleary missed 7 tackles. I mean, you even go back to that grand final where Ezra Mam just tore that edge apart. And so I think the Raiders identified that and said there is there are points on the field where they're a little bit soft underbelly of the Penrith Panthers. Now, granted, we know Cleary can sort that out. We know he can be a great defender, but every now and then he just has this game where he'll miss a few tackles here or there. But I just thought that's where the Raiders identified, and they just went there all game long, and I think that the Panthers struggled to keep up with them.
It's a really good sign of just the Raiders' game plan in the Blaze and Nath Cleary both made 27 tackles. The other big one for me is Isaac Tungo was forced to make 27 tackles.
Yeah.
Just really hitting that corridor.
The halves together missed 17 tackles. Like, that's a lot of tackles missed.
The last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, definitely 2 weeks, was the errors that Dylan Edwards coming up with at key moments.
Bizarre, isn't it?
It's, I haven't seen him do this before.
Well, since his debut.
Early days.
Yeah, fair, yeah.
Year sort of 1 or 2, he was known for him a little bit, and you're going like error riddled, and especially under the high ball. And then for the best part of 5 or 6 years, he's been basically foolproof and error proof. They're just creeping back into his game a little bit, aren't they? They're just a few demons under the high ball.
Do you think it's mental fatigue potentially?
Well,
fatigue was going to be what I was going to say, like,
because it's 2 years now in Origin.
It is so bizarre that it's sort of just come out of the blue a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it this way: he's been named the New South Wales and the Australian fullback and these sorts of things over players with a lot more attacking flair to him, largely due to just how reliable and how secure he is in that position and what he does. That's the staple of his game, and it's now started to become a little bit of an issue. It's Dylan Edwards. I dare say it won't continue, but for more than a few weeks now, they're starting to get back in. Even like there was and again, this was 84th minute of the game, whatever, but there was the missed tackle on the final try as well, which he should be making more often than not by his standards.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that makes sense to me is not necessarily physical fatigue, but potentially mental fatigue, because that's like switching off. Because we know he can do it, so it's not a matter of it's not a skill set thing. But you're right, mate. He did some crucial errors last week, some crucial errors this week. He's a guy that I definitely would be looking to rest in the last round.
It's like you probably don't want to make an excuse, and the Penrith Panthers definitely want to be making an excuse, but the amount of football that the likes of Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo have played in recent years with Kangaroo duties, New South Wales Blues duties, Penrith going, to a grand final every year. At some point, you have to run out of steam.
Surely.
Especially the amount of injuries he's played through.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's playing hurt, mate. He's played injured.
Played with a broken foot in a grand final.
Last year.
Crazy.
Insanity. Yeah. Absolutely insanity. I thought Leota was outstanding. Like, when you watch Leota closely, honestly, maybe once a game he gets put on his back. Every other tackle he finds his front. Like, everything is around Leota's quick play the ball. I will say they do miss that 1-2 punch of Fish and Leota a little bit. Papali'i's kind of picked up the slack to a degree. Because Lindsay Smith's a very different front rower. Like he's a bloody good front rower, but he's actually more close to the Isaiah Yeo than the Leota style. But I thought Leota was, especially his first 20, was just phenomenal.
2 weeks out from finals, little hypothetical for everyone on the panel. If you could parachute anyone into this Panthers side that's left over the last few years, who would it be? Like, I think it's probably got to be one of Fish, Luai, or Critter, personally.
Probably Fish. In saying that, like, Blaze is a rookie, Lindsay Smith is an Australian front rower. I mean, he'd come with the. I don't know.
The fact that they're not desperate for any of them says it all, doesn't
it's
it? Like,
crazy.
you throw Critter in there, who's the big game player, Tungo and McLean, like, they're pretty sweet. Blaze Slungy, he's been killing it. You said Lindsay Smith, flying.
Tough one. Who would you bring in?
Bad.
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Oh.
It's so hard. I don't know what you do. Like, I think you automatically, because of Blaze as a rookie, you go to Luai, but then you think, okay, if that forward pack just had that one other alpha in it. But then I think, okay, that game went right down to the wire there. Fucking I don't want anyone other than Critter in my side.
Yeah.
You know what? Luai defensively is so good. He would shore up that edge. I think that'd nearly give him the edge.
I think with Luai too, I think they're missing a little bit of that swagger at the moment.
Yeah. I think Luai.
It might just be his energy that can just get them through.
Yeah, the reason I say Fish is because, like, everything used to revolve off a 1-2 punch with Leota and Fish. Every set that you saw them do good, Fish would take a carry, Leota would take a carry, and then said that their play would happen straight after that. It would happen all the time. You go back to that grand final, their comeback coincided with Fish and Leota coming back on the field and winning the forward battle. But look, there's no wrong answer, to be honest. Like, Critter could bring that swagger back. Luai could bring the swagger back. But anyway, in regards to some other performances, I just think they're missing a little bit of that edge, and it might just be fatigue, really. It might just be they've had a big year. I will say, like, Cleary's running game, his kicking game's been phenomenal. Like, his kicking game, he kicked for 880 metres on the weekend, which is insane. But he just hasn't, for the last 4 or 5 years, he's been averaging around 100 to 120 metres. At least this game, 60 metres. And since Origin, I'll have to go and look at the stats because maybe he has run a lot, but at least in this game, he didn't run that much.
It was definitely one thing that I noticed when I was watching these games, that when I was watching Galvin, like, we'll talk about him soon, but he just ran the football non-stop. And it reminded me a lot of Nath, which he just didn't do in this game.
And I just wonder, like, he built the premiership off this running game because as soon as he hit 100 metres average, they started winning premierships. We go back to Origin and I wonder, is an injury lingering for Cleary that we aren't aware of? Because although he's not bad, he's definitely not peak Cleary that we know right now.
Well, I think the other thing with Nath Cleary is that this is probably the first time in, I would imagine, 4 years that he's played all 25 games, where he hasn't had a bit, like every other season he has. Like, he had the Dill Brown suspension, he had injuries in Origin. Like, he tends to have, 4 to 10 weeks off just after that Origin period, the last few years.
Yeah, and it's still been a huge, 5 years for the bloke.
Yeah.
But
I think that Origin series would have taken a lot out of him too. Like, that roller coaster would have just been a shit for him.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine dealing with that? Like, it takes a very special man to be able to deal with that and take responsibility as well.
I also think there'd be a lot of these guys that, I don't think publicly they'd say, but I think there'd be privately a lot of these guys that would be looking at, okay, 6 weeks left, and then we've got the Ashes, and then we've got Pac Champs. Like, it's just so much footy.
Mate, it's too much footy. It's way too much. I'm just trying to look up Cleary's metres in the last few games just to get an idea of how he's been going. What do you reckon, Hammy? Who stood out for you?
Well, yeah, while you get those numbers ready, we're speaking about guys who potentially could play the fatigue card or might be due for a freshen up. Shout out to Brian To'o for pumping out the obligatory 250 metres, 85 post contact. He's had injuries, he's been fatigued, he's played as much footy as anyone, but he continues to be really, really good. I was also very impressed with Casey McLean. Obviously had the 2 tries, particularly that second one that kind of came sweeping around to the left. He is a freak, so looking forward to seeing a lot more footy from him. But super, super scary prospect on that left edge there.
Problem with Toto is tall guys jump over him once a deco. I can't forgive it.
Okay, so some interesting stats here. So Cleary went a period where essentially averaging 1 missed tackle a game, but his last 5 games he missed 5, 9, 3, 4, 7. In his last 4 games, he went 56 metres, 89 metres, 73 metres, 60 metres. Then 5 games ago, he went 178 against the Tigers, but then he went 63, 85, 97. So it is his last 4 games, his running game has been down a little bit.
Well, to put that into perspective, his average running minutes for the year is 96, and 6 of the last 7 weeks has been below that.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll add to that as well, and I've said it before, but one of my gripes, NRL.com stats, running meters is you basically going past the advantage line and then passing the ball. You haven't really run the ball or gone into contact. Like Fox Sports stats, which is, I believe, more actually taking the hit up and going into contact, you ran for 18 metres.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you got Fox Sports the last 5 weeks or so?
I'm trying to find it. Stick with me. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so because the only way they're going to win a comp is with his running game, because he keeps the defence honest. That's how the space on the edges, is created by his running game. So hopefully he's not carrying injury, because I would love to see the Cleary redemption this year. As everyone knows, I'm a huge fan of Cleary. Okay, on to the next game. Storm v the Doggies, 20-14. And also, guys, we won't be able to get through every single game a lot. We'll be spending more on the bigger games because we had to start later. Because some stuff was going on this morning. Okay, Storm v the Bulldogs, 20-14. I'm surprised at the controversy that came out of this game with the Critter try. That's just not a try. Like, yes, you can disagree with the ruling and the change of the rule or whatever that happened a few years ago. And I actually tend to disagree with the actual rule, but, it's the rule. You've got to regather it. I'm quite surprised people were like, no, it's a try.
Yeah, I think just because people have grown up with that's a try. It's always been a try. The rule's different, obviously. But I do find it frustrating when something like that happens, and obviously I'm heaps fucking biased because I want a golden point. But all my life I watched that and,
Did you have
that
golden
was a
point,
try, you know? And I'm just like, if that was a kick and he grounds it like that off a kick, it's a try, and there's no conversation about it whatsoever, which I think is frustrating. You're right, though. The rule is the rule. I just think it's over-managed, personally.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at people disagreeing with the rule because I get it. You know, it's been around forever. But, like, so many tries have been disallowed this year because of that, like, where it looks like they've regripped it or whatever.
I think as well, though, like, we are watching every game through a very different lens to
That's
a lot
fair.
of fans that would tune into this game going, holy fuck, this is the best night of footy in X amount of years.
Yeah.
And when it gets decided off a moment like that to a lot of people that's been a try every day of the week for most of my life.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I will say, like, once again, Critter in a big moment. Like, I know he didn't end up icing it, but, like, he had that crazy tip on. Like, bro, I cannot express to you how crazy that tip on was. Like, how does he do it?
You see him in the lead up to it as well. He calls the play out. He tells everyone where they need to be. He gets it at first receiver. He's a fucking centre. Gets it at first receiver, and, like, he's not doing this at, you know, Cogger Oval against the Dragons on Saturday. This is the Melbourne Storm trying to lock in a home final for finals, and he comes up with that play.
It's insane. Like, the amount of big moments he has. He's just made for big moments. Critter is just made for big moments. In regards to the game, listen, I thought good win from Melbourne Storm. Like, they did what they needed to do. Like, yeah, they probably, second half, they probably took the foot off the pedal. It seems to be a little bit of a pattern for them. But if you're beating the team coming third, mate, I'll take that any day of the week. And also, you're beating a desperate Bulldogs that were terrible last week. Mate, I'm happy with the Storm right now. I think that they're building quite nicely.
Yeah, I've been critical of the Storm, you know, similar to what you just said, but I walk away from that and, like, I thought Canterbury showed up to play. I thought
absolutely.
they were ready to go. And honestly, Canterbury fans, like, you hate to lose, but I don't think that sinks me on the Canterbury Bulldogs at all. I thought their defence in the second half was tremendous.
Yeah, I thought they were great, the Storm. The attack just looked slick. I thought it looked... I don't think it scored, 3 tries or something, but I thought it looked as good as it had, certainly since Jerome Hughes had gone down, and they lost him a few weeks back, and they were tearing the Dogs to shreds at different parts just with, like, really good backline movements. I thought they played fantastic in this one, and as you said, Dogs had everything on the line here. So...
I think, once again, it's a valid point. You know, they're without a Dalian medalist. Out of that side. He's to come back in. You had Harry Grant, who got sin bin. I know it's not, you know,
Thoughts on the
moving
sin bin?
universes, but, like, Sean Blaw was out as well. That changes an edge. You got Wishy in there. You got Pizzette floating around. Like, there is a lot of change.
Howarth.
Munster's been playing fullback the last few weeks. Howarth is out. Like, there is a lot going on there.
Thoughts on the sin bin? Because I didn't think it was a shoulder charge. Maybe I'm wrong. He got done for a shoulder charge, didn't he?
Yeah. Shoulder to...
I thought his arm wrapped.
Yeah, look, I thought it was like maybe just there. I thought there was maybe a little bit of hysteria. Like, you know, there's talk of him getting suspended and stuff now.
Yeah, going to get
2
suspended.
weeks. Yeah. I need to watch it again, but my initial thoughts from seeing it were that it was a shoulder charge and there wasn't wrapping. And I thought it was a very, very dumb play from Harry Grant to now cop 2 weeks for, which I think, again, I'll go and have a look, but I thought it was a shoulder charge. For what it's worth, I don't think they'll be too upset about it. They're secured top 2. Harry Grant would have rested 1 game anyway.
Yeah.
He'll now get 2 weeks of rest going into finals. Not going to worry him at all. He can, you know, sort out any injuries or niggles that he's got, and I think the Storm will be okay with it.
Yeah.
What a position to be in. You can lose Harry Grant for 2 weeks when Jerome Hughes is out.
Yeah, all good.
Sweet.
All good. I thought the Bulldogs did a really good job at fixing the problem that they had in the first half, because I just got on my notes, like, the Storm were playing Bulldogs footy better than the Bulldogs because they were just winning the ruck and they were too fast. And that's probably one area where you're probably never going to beat the Storm. If you're trying to go blow for blow with the Storm when it comes to quick play the balls and having, you know, front foot footy, the Storm are the best in the business. You're not going to do that. I thought the Raiders did a really good job at slowing the ruck down in the second half and understanding that, okay, we can't go blow for blow with the Storm here because this is what they do. They're the best at it. And it shows you a mature footy team that they can make those adjustments on the fly, because it was like a different team almost came out in the second half with the Bulldogs. And And also, I'm pretty sure they scored the same amount of tries. It was just Critter's boot that...
3 tries apiece.
Yeah. So, mate, if I'm the Doggies, I'm going down to Melbourne, scoring the same amount of tries. It was just our boot that cost us. Mate, I'm happy with that. I am happy with that as a Doggies fan.
Some crazy stats, hey? Like, Doggies had 54% of possession. They ran for 430 metres more than them. It was some odd
line
ones.
breaks to 3.
10 line breaks to 3. What?
It's
Mental.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you're the Dogs, okay, you lost, that sucks. But, like, every stat there should give you... First of all, the Storm deserve massive credit for hanging on there. And that's what's been so not refreshing, but it's made me back the Storm even more. I reckon in this last month, the biggest question we've had about them is ticker and grit. Like, do they have that old school Storm? We know they've got grit, but do they have that... famous Storm grit? I think they absolutely do have that famous Storm grit.
Well, yeah, we're at the Roo Crew event on the Friday night down at the Harbour, but 3 tries, 10 line breaks, 3 tries. That just says to me, scramble, scramble, scramble.
Yeah, that Harry Hayes try saver in the corner there. The Melbourne Storm, I think both teams walk away from this very, very confident about what they can do. The only thing with the Dogs, though, they've got to do it again next week. They can't afford to go up and down and up and down heading into finals footy. Let's talk about the...
Do they have to win this week against Penrith for you? Like if they lose to Melbourne, then they...
If it's a tight game, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
If they get smacked, I'm worried because they need to at least play 3 good games to win a premiership. And at the moment, they can't put together 3 good games.
Well,
They're going up and down, up and
They
down.
can still miss the 4. Like, they're on 36. Broncos are on 32. Dogs go...
Sharks are on 32 as well.
Yeah, so they go... Who are the Panthers this week into the Sharks? They need to win one of them.
And for how critical we've been on the Sharks, they're still there.
Yeah.
And also, the Sharkies, I think there's 3 games that they lost in the last minute. And if they had won them, they'd be sitting in the top. They'd be second, or maybe second or third. The Sharks season is such a bizarre one with all the noise that's been made about how bad it's been. It's actually been pretty good.
Yeah, because if Canterbury don't win another game, which Penrith Cronulla, I think that's more than possible. They might not win those games. Like, the other thing is the for and against the Broncos off the back of the weekend, they're about 30 points better than the Bulldogs. So if the Broncos can win their 2 games, which they've got Cowboys into, I would assume Melbourne resting players, at least without Harry Grant and Jerome Hughes now.
Yeah. If Broncos get in the top 4, jeez.
I mean, you're
Huge
fucking
chance.
close. I reckon you're a very good shot. Your for and against is 120 points better than the Wars.
Cowboys likely into a depleted Storm, assuming they rest.
I tell you, if I'm Raiders, I'd way rather the Warriors land there than the Bronx.
Oh, bloody oath.
Yeah, 100%.
And that second week of the finals up at Suncorp, stuff that. But anyway, back to the Storm. In regards to who played really well, I mean, Xavier Coates once again scoring tries, doing what he does best. But for me, it's Katoa. Like, this guy is just... I never thought he could be this consistent. Like, I thought he might have 4 good games, 1 quiet game, 4 good games, 1 quiet game. I can't remember the last game that he had that wasn't a 9 out of 10. Like, even the game against where they really went after him against Penrith, he still played outstanding in that game. He is the Dally M back rower by a mile this season. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He doesn't get enough praise for how good he is. He's been outstanding.
Will it be Elian Hudson?
Probably.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Yep.
No, he's had a tremendous season, and just his development over the last few years. Like, I remember us having a conversation when he signed from the New Zealand Warriors and sort of going, ooh, thinking, the Melbourne Storm, they get the best out of guys, and even going, I still don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
And the way he's developed has just been crazy. The other one, mate, I just want to give him a rap every week, Trent Leroux. Just the defensive work he does. The Melbourne Storm have always got, stars in their spine and whatnot, but they've always just got these hard-nosed forwards like your Dallas Johnsons, your Ryan Hinchcliffes, these sort of guys who just don't get as much praise. He's starting to now, to be fair, but fuck, he's important to this side. Just the glue.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think what I've always admired about the Storm is, whenever a trend starts to happen, a lot of other teams jump on board. The Storm are just doesn't suit our system. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Trent Leroux has decent ball playing, but he's not really like Isaiah Yeo or a Cam Murray. he is very much defence orientated first. Very much defence orientated first.
Yeah. Ryan Pappenhausen for me, boys, and scored that awesome try slicing between Galvin and Critter, but defensively, some of his plays in that last man were incredible. So there was the one, I think it was him and Xavier Coates that stopped Harry Hayes, who looked in for all money, and then there was Jackie Kiraz as well, point blank on the line. Kiraz scores 99 times out of 100 and managed to do enough to force into an error there as well. Like, perhaps, arguably the difference in this game off the back of his defensive plays.
Munster, he was good again. So Nelson, was he 18th man?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So do they bring him in for finals? Like,
Fucking oath, they got to bring him in.
Surely.
I think they need to find a way to get him in. I
The
don't
missing
know.
piece of the puzzle last year, there was all the chat about, like, what if they had had him? Would that have been the difference? But
He is missing piece of the puzzle, but it's also very telling that Craig Bellamy's not picking him.
Yeah.
He's not, like, he knows he has the ability. Why isn't he there? It's just like just reeks of him more than meets the eye, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, surely you'd be having him in by now if you're going to use him for finals footy.
Like, what
match
you're
fitness.
looking at it going, right, what is Melbourne's potential weak link at the moment? It's just missing a sort of a game-changing middle forward off the bench to come on at the 25-minute mark and turn the momentum. They've got it. Why aren't they picking him? It's like something doesn't add up.
Especially like if you're not going to pick him, like he played Q Cup last week. Send him back to the Falcons to blow out, get some minutes.
That's weird, right?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. It's the optics around NAS this year have been strange the entire way through.
And Storm is such a good organisation. Nothing's
you don't
really
hear shit.
You don't hear
There's
anything.
There's something going on.
They're so
there.
good. They're so good. The Storm. I want to give Big Stefano, another shout out. Like, mate, it got to a point this year, and I know it was his first year, and you've always got to give more of a year when it comes to Storm recruits. But it got to a point where it's like, I just don't know whether he's ever going to reach what we think he can. Mate, he's reaching it. I think ever since he came back from Origin, that's the best thing that could have happened to him, because he's got more aggression, more venom in his carries. He's breaking tackles. He's being that enforcer that you need in the middle there. I just think he's gone from strength to strength since the Origin.
Completely agree. He kind of just came back and sort of exploded, played some of his best games, certainly for the Storm, and probably best club games that I've seen him play. And his defence is really solid too. You know, he's up over 90% with his tackles each week, and also hitting hard, kind of leading the charge there as well. So, yeah, his back end of the year has been really good.
Just really quickly, off the back of that conversation we just had about how, all the trend at the moment is the ball playing locks and, all these upside guys. I just went through and had a look at the last few teams for the Melbourne Storm that have made grand finals. This has been the list of lock forwards. Trent Leroux, Nas, Finucane, Todd Lowry, Dallas Johnson.
That's so good.
Yeah.
They just refute. They're like, nah, it's not our system.
Nope.
Not gonna buy into this trend stuff. We're not gonna look across the fence and say, oh, geez, that guy's bloody good. We're gonna do it our way.
Look at Stefano, that Origin impact. So prior to Origin, he had 7 games over 100 metres and 7 games under it. Since Origin, including the game after it, he's run over 100 metres in 6 of 7. The one that he didn't was a 92 metre. Also in that time, like 134 metres, 175, 151, like belting it. He's a new man.
Yeah,
It's not even just stats; it's the eye test.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just tell that he's got a new aggression to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when he's running to hurt. Whereas before he was running to just get through his kind of work. Now onto the doggies.
And last thing, Will Warbrick returned this week in Q Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Played 50 minutes, scored 1 try, ran for almost 200 metres. Is he any chance of coming back in?
I think so. I think so.
It's a cracker try too.
Cracker try, and like he does offer, like, then all of a sudden you've got Coates and Warbrick to kick to on either side. I actually think, speaking of that, I did find it funny that Ivan Cleary obviously talking about the kick tackling in the air thing against the Storm, and then against the Raiders, he didn't have an issue kicking to Liam Martin constantly on the try line like that. I love the fact that anytime there's a big game, a coach will come out and try and position the refs a certain way. And I get it. It's good. That's what you want your coach to do. Wayne Bennett does it all the time too. But yeah, no, I just thought it was funny. I think Warbrick will probably come in if he continues to play like this. I've got no...
What's their best backline when they're, like, if we're grand final day, they got their squad fully fit. You have Pappy at fullback. You would have Coates and Warbrick.
Yep, Meaney,
and then...
Who are we forgetting in centres? Oh, Howarth.
Howarth.
Yeah.
So Grant Anderson not in there?
No, I think he's behind Warbrick. I will say that's another thing that we haven't talked about. Like, they're missing Howarth and they're missing Jerome Hughes.
Yeah.
Whereas Dogs, they're missing a couple, not some key players. I'm trying to think which they're missing players, but not key ones.
Their back line's full strength.
Yep,
They're not missing much.
Jeez. That's a good win from the Storm.
Friggin' oath.
Like, missing Hughes and you're missing Howarth. Wow. Okay. Now on to the Doggies. For me personally, I thought Kickout was outstanding in this game. He was energetic. You know, vintage Kickout, in my opinion. He really just shows you that when he goes to that level, it's very hard to go with him. Very hard to go with him. He had a try. He had 16 runs, 145 metres, 58 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, a line break assist, 4 offloads, 20 tackles, and just the kick chase, man. Like, a big fella moving like that and getting through that work. Like, even at Penrith Panthers, he wasn't fit enough to do that much work. The shape that the Bulldogs have got him into, like, it's just amazing.
He's just the 1% plays. His game's become so rounded in recent years, and you mentioned the word energy there, Kempy, but the try that he scored, it went into that left corner, and Marcelo Montoya sort of went into contact and he was getting taken out, and he flicked it back to Kickout. You see Kickout, he's a mile away from it, but he goes, no, like, just in case I'm needed here, I'm going to support this play. Had no right to. At any other back row, probably just sat back and got into shape for the next play, but he followed it up. Just so happened that he was the man on the spot, caught it and dived over. Like, it was a huge effort area play. You mentioned his kick chase, which was outstanding as well. Tackle efficiency, had a look into his numbers. 90% tackle efficiency this year. It's the second best of his entire career, and it was less than 1% off what he did in 2021 at the Panthers. So
wow.
He's been huge.
Yeah. Wow. That's it just shows you the level of high quality coaching Serraldo is giving these guys, that they can get anywhere near close to their Penrith Panthers stats. And the scary thing is I don't even think they've unlocked him fully yet. Like, I think attacking-wise, the Penrith Luai had him perfect, like set up perfectly. So I reckon as these combinations grow, I reckon he's going to get more damaging on the edge there.
It was interesting, a bit of chat around that maybe he might be part of a bit of a squeeze. You know, obviously trying to manage their cap and all that sort of stuff. Few new teams coming in. To put in a performance like that, like you wouldn't want to lose him if you're the Dogs.
It's one thing that's sort of forgotten about his career just because of what Penrith went on to achieve, and he was a big part of that. But you go back to that 2020 grand final, like, he had 5 errors in that game.
Yeah.
He had an absolute shocker that night. And he came back the year after and was really good in that grand final. I think in the prelim he came up with a big game from memory. I remember us talking about it. But yeah, like, from, you know, a guy with his ability and whatnot to have a game like that in a grand final, like, some players wouldn't recover from that.
Yeah. Just too much energy. He was trying too hard in that grand final. I'll never forget when those Panthers boys ran out, they were on edge, ready to actually go crazy, and it just got got the better of them. In regards to other performances, I thought Hayward was much better than last week for sure, especially in defence. He's got some good tackle technique through the middle there.
I really don't like how they're doing this hooker rotation.
I think that.
What's that?
As in Reid Marnie on the bench?
I think Reid, you start him or you don't pick him.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you.
Just doesn't make sense to me.
Like, and what's weird is, like, you can always just put Bailey Hayward at 14, and that's a good 14 because he can play multiple positions. But Harry Grant playing 13 minutes is doing nothing for you.
You've got Salmon, you've got Kurt Mann. They can all cover these spots. I don't get it. And I think that if they're going to compete with they obviously did compete the other night, but I just think they'd be so much better off with another forward on that bench.
You don't need Reid Marnie there.
No, I'm with you. And as I said, what's so strange is, like, you could have Hayward there. Like, if you are sitting there going, we need to have both in the team, well, start Reid and have Hayward off the bench then.
Reid Marnie's played 13, 28 and 16 minutes last 3 weeks off the bench, while Bailey Hayward's been playing big minutes. Like, it just makes no sense that he's there with Kurt Mann and all these options. And,
like, you've pulled the trigger, like, in regards to, like, the blowback, and I don't think people are going to be like, all of a sudden, if he's not on the side, I can't believe it. It's like, you've ripped the Band-Aid off. Like,
he's gone to he's got a club he's going to. He's sweet, Reid. I can't make sense of it.
I thought Lockie Galvin was quite good in this game. I like the fact that he just ran the ball. His defence definitely needs a bit of work. That's been really targeted by teams. And I wonder whether it's his hand he struggles to grip potentially. But I thought his attack, at least, he looked much more confident than he has looked in the last few weeks.
I think it was Matty Johns I heard say that, when he was watching Canterbury the other night, sort of said, I think it's with Galvin, it's almost a case of just think less and just go.
Yeah, I think so.
Leave that to Burton, leave it to Critter, and you just go. I'd say the other one that I thought was great, I think you had him in your team of the week, Harry Hayes.
Yeah. Harry Hayes is brilliant.
Mate, they've got some really, really good young forwards coming through that don't necessarily, physically they're not, Payne, Hass or Tino, but geez, they're good.
Ran that great line and nearly scored a try, ran 50-odd metres, came within a whisker of scoring and was, I think, held up over the line. And there was also, made a try saver on Nick Meaney when just, again, it was scrambling and getting back. He came from a mile away, no right to do it, but this is the sort of expectation that the Bulldogs are building with their culture and they haven't had for a number of years. It's blokes like Harry Hayes getting back and making these efforts. It's becoming the standard of the Bulldogs.
Yep, absolutely. And they get more footy into them. They're just going to get better and better, these younger forwards. We'll say Jacob Preston's defence is unbelievable. 40 tackles, 0 misses in a game like that against an attacking side like the Storm. It's almost unheard of, really. His defence is just, and he wins the contact very often. He's just a bloody good player, Preston.
Just lastly, we spoke last week about the cheat code Xavier Coates in the air and what they were going to do there. The doggies, whether it was Tuala, Montoya, they switched Kira's edges. Yeah. And he did a really good job on Xavier Coates.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a tick for them in regards to heading into finals footy. If we do come up against the Storm again, at least we know there's a chance Kiraz can stop it. Obviously, Coates could have a really good game or whatever. But yeah, look, I think that the Bulldogs should be extremely happy with this performance. A few errors from Kiraz and also Connor Tracy that they just need to clean up a little bit. But outside of that, mate, I think they're looking good.
And what about Montoya? Have you ever seen a quicker recovery from a circumcision injury? Shout out to him.
Shout out to him. Poor bloke.
Yeah. You have been sitting there chomping at the bit for that, haven't you?
Is that what Serraldo said to him? Courage and bravery?
I think so. Well, good on him. It's a hell of a performance a week after.
Did you see it got upgraded on the website? Someone hacked into it again and wrote botched circumcision.
Which makes this performance even more remarkable.
Oh my God, that's so good. So yeah, for the Dogs though, it's just about consistency. I don't mind if they lose this week to Panthers. Yeah. I don't mind if they lose. Don't get me wrong, I think they can win. But if they lose 20-14 or whatever, that's fine. It's just about consistency heading into finals footy. Then I'm okay with the Dogs, and I think that they can do some damage.
Yeah. If they get done, there's a few different circumstances, but yeah, Sharks, Doggies round 27 could be for top 4.
Oh, yeah.
So did you say circumstances?
I knew you were going to say that.
There might be a few circumcisions. Yeah, actually, if they do get knocked out of the top 4, maybe there will be a few circumcisions.
Yeah. Punishment for missing the top
4. Every time you drop a ball. Serraldo just goes like
These are the standards they're driving there.
2026, face the music punishment.
Oh, you're a sicko. Jeez, we were all joking until that bit. That's weird.
I'm going to take $11 off you for that remark.
Anyway, it's time for Sea Eagles v Dolphins, brought to you by Aspley Mazda and Luke Camilleri. As I said earlier in the show, guys, he has a special deal just for Bloke members, discounts on new and used and also trade-ins. He's also got, if you live in Southeast Queensland, you get 15% off services forever. So shoot him a message. You can only get these deals for the Bloke community. We're really appreciative for Luke giving this to us via messaging him on Instagram, LDC_01. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that. The amount of Bloke community he's helped is honestly heaps, and have all been stoked with it. So message him, LDC_01. Alrighty, the Sea Eagles defeat the Dolphins 58-30. My biggest takeaway from this game was the playing group still gets around DCE. They were clearly up for it. I think that if there was any concern about, we know that the administration and DCE don't get along. That's pretty clear, pretty evident. But it looks like the playing group still loves and respects DCE, because this is one of their better performances of the year, outside of the last 10 minutes, because 58-30 is a diabolical scoreline. But that's the biggest takeaway I got out of it. And it's been an ugly breakup. but I do think DCE deserves at least kind of send off to a degree.
Yeah, I think he's got one more game at Brookie to come. They played there in the last round. But, mate, as the same story with Manly over the last 5 or 10 years, when they're on, fuck, they're good to watch.
Yeah, 100%.
They're just so entertaining to watch. They're just lights out footy, but you just never know what you're going to get week to week.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, I've got to say, Cooler has been unbelievable this year. And I would probably still have Herbie and Critter centres of the year, but, mate, Cooler's not far off for me. I think he's been so good.
Yeah, just firstly on Cherry Evans, like we'll see how the final home game of the season ends up and whatnot and the farewell there, but to have this moment in the milestone 350th game, like if they were just to fade out for the season and lose a couple of games and not get a good send-off, it just would have been such an anticlimax to what's been such an unbelievable career at the Manly Seagulls. And he was brilliant in this game. As you said, the boys lifted for him. The Manly Seagulls, they're just absolute counter-attacking best. That Bullymore try where they just went side to side, they're so exciting to watch. They're unpredictable, and that's probably what makes them so good to watch. But they were really good, at least in attack. And Toltau Kola, I mean, yeah, you say it'll probably be Herbie and Critter who are centres of the year. I think Herbie will be locked in even despite missing the end of the season. But there's not much in it. Cola's been unbelievable.
Mate, I'm with you.
Just going through Cola's career. So, first 3 years. 2022, he played 20 games, he scored 6 tries. 2023, he played 19 games, he scored 8 tries. 2024, he played 21 games, he scored 7 tries. In the last 8 weeks, he scored 7 tries.
Far out.
Yeah,
He
nice,
scored
mate.
16 for this season.
I haven't heard that stat since I said it last week.
Oh. Whoa. There's a bit of spite there. What, you sweet? You sweet?
I was too kind to him.
Well, you
last
passioned
week.
him last week. You nearly tongued him fucking on the set.
Yeah, and I felt bad
Alan
about
tongue.
it.
Alan tongued him.
Yeah.
And I felt bad about it all week, so I just needed to turn the tides.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
you did the same thing to me earlier in this show. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was someone's running meters or something, and I thought, you know what, I'll let it go.
He actually did it to me. He did to me earlier.
I said one around the Rabbitohs depth, but I credited you for your social media post.
There was another
No, the Rabbitohs depth. It was
now,
actually
mate.
me that said the Rabbitohs depth at the start of the thing. I said they've got essentially a reserve grade with first grade experience.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, right. So you stole that off Guru.
No.
The original idea wouldn't hurt from either of you, okay? Just at some point.
Welcome to Bloke 360.
Anyway, you got anything to say, Hammy?
I'm staying out of it. You folks, let you guys thrash it out. I'll just Stephen Bradbury my way to
You
the
would, you cat. But anyway, back to the rugby league. Outside Lehigh Hopewadi,
Yes.
he's going to be the pound for pound strongest player in the competition, surely.
Yep.
I don't understand. Like, there's not much. He'd be 85 kilos dripping wet.
When Fuller wailed him in the corner, 1-on-1, and he just sort of like brushed him off and managed to put that board. I'm like, how did you not go out?
That bizarre. Like, he fends front rowers. Like, I
'Cause
don't.
my initial thought was like, Fuller, you have to make that and
Yep.
take him out. But then I was like, hang on a minute, like, how did he, like, he did everything he could just about, and Hopper just,
I can't believe it.
to hold his ground.
Like, that's usually a guy that's 110 kilos who does that.
Yeah.
Not as one of the smallest wingers in the competition. I mean, I know he's tallish, but, mate, he's not. There's not much of him. He's so strong. So strong. It's going to be... That's an interesting watch to Lehigh Hopewadi because, you know, Turbo and that apparently have got meetings with the administration coming soon in regards to how happy they are at the club. But, you know, Lehigh Hopewadi's best position is probably fullback, but at the same time, he needs time to get even better at it. I wonder how they handle it. I really do.
He's young and can work in reverse. Like, all right, if they sit there and you see Tommy Turbo at his brilliant best on the weekend, and when he was at centre, he would sort of roam around and play a bit of an attacking role at fullback as well and sweeping. Well, if longer term they do stick with Tommy Turbo at fullback and Hopper plays wing, you do the same, and you get Hopper floating at different sort of stages in attack as well.
You know what's funny? Is Cooler was actually roaming
He was,
in this game.
I know.
So I was like, and I like Cooler rolling because he's another fullback that's like, he's electric. He might be the most explosive player in the competition. He is so powerful in contact.
Roaming Cola,
Oh.
that was awesome.
If he's around the ruck as well, if he can just get in around the ruck with that speed and power. But yeah, like it's typical Manly performance. When they're on, they are the most exciting. Outside of maybe, they're as equally as exciting as the Broncos and the Cowboys, I'd say, when they're on. because they're just willing to just spin it constantly. Yeah, great performance. In regards to individual ones, I think Bullymore has probably been, in regards to forwards at Manly Seagulls, Bullymore has been the shining light in a year that hasn't been that great.
He's been great. He's been great since he came into first grade, realistically. Geez, I loved him on the Matty John show last night. Him and Jazz, that might have been the ultimate.
Mate, he switched on too.
Ethereum Bullymore, the crypto trader.
Yeah, he's
Oh, really?
He gave us a tip on the captain's run a year or so ago. He's like, mate, I'll tip you up.
How'd you go? You buy the dip? Or
I didn't buy the dip. I didn't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get tipped up. Oh, he tipped me up, but I got led to water, but I didn't drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Tommy Turbo was outstanding. Outside of that, DCE outstanding. 3
I thought
tries.
Brooksy was good too.
Yeah, it's been a bit of talk about Brooksy, and he's bounced back, which is good.
Yeah, you had Joey Walsh, who was the 18th man for this game. Rumours are that he'll debut before the end of the season. He went back to New South Wales Cup and absolutely carved it down there.
Okay, because there was some people saying that he's just not ready for first grade yet that I saw. Just fans of Manly.
I kind of tend to agree, if I'm completely honest. I think he's a little bit unorthodox in the way that he plays, but...
Is he closer to Sam Walker or...?
Yeah, I would say he's a little bit closer to Sam Walker than
Okay.
Jamal Fogarty, for example.
Yeah.
But, shown that can work. You only know. You don't know what you don't know yet.
100%. I will say, the Manly Seagulls averaged 10 more metres per set than the Dolphins. Jesus. That's a lot. What's interesting, though, is that the Dolphins actually had only one less line break than the Manly Seagulls. Wow. The Manly Seagulls, although they only had 4% more of the ball, they ran for about 500 metres more as well. So, yeah, great win. They had 21 offloads to 5-2, which is also good. I mean, just all those stats point to a Manly Seagulls where it's clicking for them. Good offloads, spreading it side to side, making metres up the edges. So, great win. On to the Dolphins. Look, I just think they're running out of steam, to be honest. I just think they've run out of steam.
Yeah, and so they should have, realistically.
Yep, decimated by injury.
Like 3rd year in a row, Dolphins though, basically get to August and stop playing footy. I know different coaches, different circumstances, but it's becoming a little bit of a habit probably, showing a lot of promise and looking like they should finish top 8. Just, I don't know what they change, whatever, but it feels like there's something they need to address there.
I think it's the injuries, really, because ever since they've came into the comp, they've been smashed with injuries.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing, I think. The injuries is a genuine excuse for them with what they've lost this year and for such a big part of the year, and they have run out of steam. But the fact is that despite the injuries, they dealt with them. And look, we know that Herbie was probably the one. Since they lost Herbie against the Warriors, and that was their last win, they have fallen to pieces. But they've dealt with all the injuries all year, and it's been so impressive. I just thought playing for top 8 spot, they might have shown a bit more. Like, lost by 28 on the weekend, 10 to the Broncos, the 64-12 thrashing against the Roosters. Again, all in all, as an overview go, they've been decimated. They have excuses, but they've dealt with them. Playing for top 8 spot, I was hoping for more. I was.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like Tavita Nafahua. I think that's how you say it. Nafahu.
Good player.
Mate, he's a bloody good player. Super quick on his feet, strong in contact, fast. I like the fact that Hammer got through a lot of work, 16 runs, 203 metres, which is always good when he's getting through all that. But Jerry Marshall-King was probably their best player, you reckon, Roo?
I agree. Yeah, JMK was probably best on ground. I think I had him as my team of the week 9. I thought he was fantastic. Just on Nafar, who's obviously played wing. I think that they look at him as a centre or a fullback, ideally.
Yeah, okay.
So I know they've got Trey Fuller there, but I'd really like to see him at some point get a shot at fullback.
Yeah, okay. Okay, interesting. Because, I mean, he is quick. What's his ball playing like? Have you seen much of his ball playing or not really?
To be honest with you, I haven't seen much of him. I just know that up there at the Dolphins, they really rate him. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's an athlete, that's for sure. Okay. We'll be quick on some of these games, guys, because we had to start later. Apologies. Okay, now, on to Warriors v. the Titans. Warriors win 32-18. Look, I understand it was the Titans. I get it. But I actually thought for 60 minutes, this was just a good, controlled victory from the Warriors. I get it. It's the Titans. They're at the bottom of the table. But I don't think the Warriors are getting enough credit. Like, this Warriors side with this many injuries just 4 years ago would be an absolute basket case. the fact that they're able to just somehow keep kind of scraping victories together, I know it's not against the hardest opposition, I think they deserve credit for that. I really do. They're still sitting there in the top 4. Yes, the last 10 minutes or so they let some tries in, but I thought this was a good controlled victory.
Yep, I agree. I was pretty disappointed in the Warriors' performance last week, considering they won. I thought they were pretty poor. I know there's injuries and whatnot, but last week I thought it was pretty average. As you said, I think it was really controlled this week. I thought this was Tanner Boyd's best game for the Warriors that he's played. I loved what Chanel Harris-Tavita brought in this game, and your man Timmy, RTS, flying.
Holy
Jesus.
dooly, yeah. I think it was a good win by the Warriors. Like, it's easy to sit and say, oh, look, it was the Titans, as they should, but the reality is the Warriors lost to the Titans in New Zealand about 3 weeks ago. So they've turned it around, and comprehensively after conceding that early Tino try, they kept them scoreless for the next 70 minutes. Sure, they gave in too late, but so be it. The game was well done, and it was an entertaining game in the sense that it was two entirely contrasting styles in the Warriors, who you'd see, they just went complete, win field possession, kick early, do all these things right, and we'll do enough to win this game. Do not lose it, essentially. And then this Titans, whose season was done, coach, as we now know, on the way out, just going, boys, let's just play some footy, throw it around, a bit of schoolyard junk, and try to put some points on the board. And yeah, it's not a bad game to watch, but from the Warriors' point of view, they're in the top 4 and they've got a chance to keep it that way.
Yeah, and so I just think that because we become used to them being a good side, we're not really appreciating how far they've come, that they can still get these wins whilst being so injured. And it's just a different Warriors outfit. Like, the fact that we expect them to continue consistency even though they've got injuries shows you how far they've come, because that was literally the Warriors' problem. Is like, things go against them, they just fall apart. The consistency is just not there. So I think they deserve credit. I will say, Eddie Iremaya Tova, jeez.
Something there.
Oh, yeah. And like, he's not even one of the forwards that we were aware of at the start of the year. 20 years old, comes on, plays 44 minutes, a try, 13 runs, 147 metres, 69 post contact, 1 tackle break, 1 line break, 20 tackles, 0 misses, 0 errors.
Far out.
One of those valuable guys that can play second row and centre.
Okay.
Handy to have.
Mate, these young guys coming through the Warriors are a problem.
Isn't it crazy with the Warriors? Like, when you look back at, I remember coming on the flight back from Vegas and all the chat was, Warriors are fucked, it's over. Like, got beat by the Raiders in Las Vegas. You were half sparing. Like, you look at the Raiders now, a week away from locking up a minor premiership. Crazy how it all, context completely changes.
It changes everything. And also Ricky Stewart saying, if we come last, it'll be one of the best comps ever. I was like, that is so, like, I hope they have that. In all the documentaries going forward, if the Raiders win, I hope they have that, because that is a confident man just going, there's not a chance in hell we're coming last.
If they can do it, you're right, it's going to make for a good doco.
Oh, mate, absolutely.
Like, if you go back to that game in Vegas, Vaimalga, he played 13 minutes, Lecker played 26 minutes. They just did not have the faith in those guys at that point. They've come so far.
And Laban didn't go across,
Laban didn't even get on the fucking flight.
Yeah, wow.
But like, it's now at the point where if Lecker doesn't play 80 minutes, I want to turn tables upside down.
Yeah, he's become a key part of their side.
And it's funny enough, the guy that you mentioned there, EIT, he was the 18th man in Vegas, which I didn't even realise.
Oh, really? Was he? Okay. So the fact that they had a huge win on the weekend, I think, as well. The reserve graders. I'm pretty sure they had a massive win against second place, I think, as well. I think they beat them by friggin' 13 plus, definitely.
Guru mentioned Tanner Boyd there, and it was a big game for Tanner Boyd because prior to Tamari Martin getting an early concussion, Tanner was actually dropped from this side. So he was coming back from a game where I actually thought there was probably going to be a game day switch, but no, they stuck with Tanner and they kept Tamari Martin on the bench. So he was playing for his spot leading into a final series back on the Gold Coast, so a bit of spite in it as well with the way that all unfolded. And with you, he just took the line on really well. His running game was great, kicking game was excellent, so he was big.
As you said, the Warriors in reserve grade, they were playing Parramatta, who were in second place, Kempy. They beat them 54-4.
What? Bro, what is happening over the ditch? Far out.
Something's happening.
I've always felt with Tanner Boyd, I just feel like he needs the right coach to get some confidence into him, and he can be a good, just solid first grader. I really good kicking game, decent in defence. Obviously he's a half, so he'll miss some tackles. So yeah, I'm really happy with this performance from. I thought Pompey was much better in this game as well. Anyone stand out for you with the Warriors, mate?
Yeah, the Fish. Thought he was immense.
What about Tino going after him first tackle?
Yeah, yeah. But no, he had a good knock there, 148 metres. Big leader of that pack, particularly with guys like Barnett and whatever out. So I thought he was very impressive as well.
Just on the Wars too, before we move on. End of last week, they signed Hazen Mellors from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Very good get. It looks like it's sort of almost a player swap for Ed Cossey. I think the Wars have won that.
Okay. Titans, look, not really much to talk about. We spoke about the Titans earlier in the show, guys, on Code Sports chat about Desi, so we'll move on from them. Eels v Roosters. Guys, the Captain's Club, it's sold out. I told you it would sell out. I told you, and I'm sure there's some people sitting there going, damn it, I should have listened to Kempy. It is sold out. The Captain's Club, where we were giving 20% off for basically a premium seating, get a 2-course meal, halftime catering from Mr. Wong, plus unlimited beverages. It's all gone. So I tried to warn you. Okay, Eels versus Roosters.
The Roosters booked it in for Mad Monday. Ooh. Right, Matty? Mad. Love how that played out.
He's turned on his team, eh? The Roosters. I tell you what, devastating for the Roosters. The fact that they fell off this much, but also the Eels were unbelievable on the weekend. I cannot wait to see what this Eels team's going to look like in 2 or 3 years. I cannot wait. They were phenomenal on the weekend. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really exciting, Parramatta, what they're putting together. And it's, I think we quite often get stuck in this washing machine of just old coaches getting jobs, going from place to place, not getting results, getting another opportunity somewhere. I love that Parramatta just went, fuck it, we're going to buck the trend. Jason Riles come in and not only come in and not will help you, it's here's the keys, tell us how you want to go about this. Made tough calls, and they're really starting to pay dividends now. And, Sam Walker out, sweet. But we've praised this Roosters forward pack for the last 10 weeks, but how good they are, how dominant they are, gladiators, all this sort of stuff. Parramatta pack took it to them.
And you got Angus Crichton, you got the Dally M fullback. You've got a good side to still beat the Eels side. I'm with you, mate. I've been critical of the Eels administration in the past, just with that way they've handled recruitment at times. I think they deserve a massive rap. We've been giving Riles a rap all year, but I think you're right. They brought Riles in, very easy for them to go, listen, we're going to manage you a little bit because you're a rookie coach. They've fully gone, we are going to give you everything that you need. We're going to be okay with losing a few games. There was no pressure on Riles. And they're going to pay the dividends for it.
Yeah, look, the Roosters were garbage in this. I think it was at a 57% completion rate. I believe it was the worst all season.
It was actually worse than that, I think.
And not.
Oh, sorry.
And not even just errors chasing points and silly offloads and stuff. Just one off the rack, not in contact, drop balls. It was mesmerising how poor the Roosters were. What I will say though is, credit went due to Parramatta because from the word go in this game, the second that ball was kicked off, they were just relentless. Their line speed, their contact, everything. Riley Smith was leading the line the entire game, and they just had their foot on the throat as soon as the game started, and the Roosters had no response. So,
you know what? It actually reminded me of their win against the Broncos, just with their line speed and their ability to choke much bigger sides that have bigger forward packs.
It was again, don't take it out of context, but what Penrith do to sides at their best, where they just don't relent. They have line speed all game. It was pretty close to an 80-minute performance for me, where they don't. You can't afford to give a Rooster side like this with all their attacking strike a 10-minute window because they can score 3 tries and just flip the game. They did not give them that at all.
Yeah, it's a really impressive. What's crazy as well, the Roosters actually had more line breaks than the Eels.
Mate, there's some bizarre stats. 3 line breaks to 1. Average set distance, the Roosters won by about 7 metres. Tackle breaks, they won by 8 tackle breaks. Some bizarre things to come out of it.
6 tries and 1 line break.
Yep. Crazy.
That's crazy. And look, it just shows you their fight, their grit, the toughness. Even though the Roosters made 20 errors. 20 errors. I don't think I've ever seen that. Sorry, 22 errors.
22, yep.
I don't think I've ever seen it. In the second half, their completion rate was 43% with 10 minutes to go.
What's 22 errors? That's one every 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
A little bit higher than that. That's wild. Also Parramatta missed 8 more tackles than what the Roosters did.
That's crazy. So it's just all ticker, just all hanging in games. All right, we'll speak about Eels and then we'll get to the Roosters. But yeah, the Eels, they're just a totally different side with Mitchell Moses in it. If he was playing the whole year, I honestly think they do make the 8.
Yep.
I think Jack Williams has been, revelation might not be the word, but the tier under it, he has been absolutely phenomenal for them. Absolutely, and on the edge there, geez, he just runs a powerful line, tough to tackle, fit, does all the tough stuff. He's been outstanding, Jack Williams.
Yeah, I remember watching Jack Williams when he was a young fella in Cooma, and he always had that edge potential in him.
Shut up.
Can you tell us about Jack Williams, Timmy?
I remember watching him as a young bloke.
Stop copying Guru.
Yeah, I've said it before, he just, having come through, since he was at the Sharkies as an out-and-out sort of middle forward and a big boy, I don't know if they've stripped kilos off him or anything, but he just looks nimble, his footwork's excellent, and he's fit right in on the edge. And, whether or not it's a long-term player, I don't know, but I'd keep him there.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Josh Adokar? I can't believe how good he's playing at the moment. That intercept he took was unbelievable. That was vintage Fox. How he's been this good for what has it been, 12 years or something like that?
Yep.
And there's very few years where he hasn't been one of the better wings in the competition.
Yeah.
Really, his couple years at Dogs probably where he went off a little bit. But ever since he's got to the Eels, I think he's been outstanding.
Yeah, man, he's still only 30.
Yeah.
He's still got a fair bit of footy left in him. He's looking as fit as he's been. He's rounded out his game well too. He does get through a little bit more hard work than he did once upon a time. But yeah, he's scoring a lot of tries at the moment. A really good end to the year.
I remember going to watch a family friend play Toyota Cup probably 14 years ago now. And I remember he kicked for this winger and he scored. And I remember looking at that winger going, they are the skinniest set of legs I have ever seen on a football field. And it was Fox playing for the Sharks in Toyota Cup.
Okay.
Went over to the Tigers, made his way down to Melbourne. It's been an incredible career.
Got those deadly curry legs. They're fast as anything. They're built for speed, baby. Built for speed. Mate, yeah, and also just one of those few generational characters that, brings people into the game, continues to be a live wire and watch. Another guy, look, I think he's still got a lot of work to do on his game as a 6, and I know that he's just been thrown in there. But I think Joash Papali, just his energy that he brings, I just think he's a real locker room guy that you just need guys like him around that just bring the energy up an extra notch. And as I said, I think he's got a lot of work to do to be a 6. I think he's an out-and-out fullback, and I don't know whether that's going to be long-term that he'll be a 6. But he's got the talent at least, and he's definitely got the right attitude.
For sure. I thought he looked a little bit more comfortable on the weekend than he has in previous weeks. I thought, as you mentioned with Josh Adokar, that moment that Dill Walker gets an offload and just assesses the entire field in a split second and comes up with the perfect kick in that moment. Incredible player, Dill Walker. When you have a look through his career, that he's been a 9, 6 centre. You could play him on an edge at any point. Now he's the perfect utility in our game. Crazy.
Where does he rank signings of the year?
Which one, Dill or Josh? They're both right up there.
Dill.
I think a lot of people would say, Mitch Moses returning was a turning point. Fuck that, it was Dill Brown arriving.
Coming in. Dill Walker.
It was Dill Walker. Definitely wasn't Dill Brown arriving. Dill Walker arriving that I think has really turned this side around. And, the beauty is too, mate, he's not playing 60, 70 minutes like I expected him to. Riles is just trusting everyone to do their role, and Dill's coming in and he's just pulling the right strings at the right moment.
Because you've got Terrell May would be up there, I reckon.
Yep. Taylor May probably in recent weeks too.
Yeah. Even Luai, you could argue. I'm just trying to think of some of these top tier sides that have brought people across.
Mark,
Yeah, Nongan Iwase. Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a great
I think Aaron
shout.
Clark has to be right up there.
Yeah, Aaron Clark for sure. He's going to win Dally M. You probably could say Aaron Clark. He's in a top 4 side and he's going to win Dally M Lock of the Year. Whereas all these other guys, they're probably not going to win Dally M positions.
Yeah. Dragons got some very good ones in Cook and Val and whatnot.
Warriors got Fish,
Fish. He's been so good for their culture. He's been just so good. When they get their full strength back with Barnett, Fish and that, geez, cannot wait.
AFB's obviously been a good get, but I think Aaron Clark's very hard to go past.
Yeah, probably Aaron Clark.
A lot of those players you mentioned were already big name players on big wickets, though. Like Aaron Clark's one who
on the bench
he
for
was,
the Titans.
struggling to start for the Titans, who wouldn't have signed for that much, and as I said, he's probably going to win lock of the year. So the value prospect or factor there, that separates him above all of them for me.
We sort of spoke about it pre-show, but this how it's going to work out with Riley Smith and Talon De Silva heading into the future.
Strange, isn't it? I've never... This Talon De Silva, like I hope he grows into the player that we think he can be. But when you've already got Riley Smith there, I just don't understand this huge long deal. Like I'd understand a 2 or 3 year deal because I get it. There's plenty of talent there, but it's a 5-year deal.
What did he sign for? It was like 600 or something.
$600K a year or
on
something
like
like
a
that.
4.5-year deal.
There's
so
a big chance that he's playing 15 minutes off the bench or playing reserve grade round 1 next year. Like because Riley on form, he's playing better footy.
And I guess if you're like, I was about to say, like, why Riley Smith would re-sign there, I can't work out. But I guess, as you said, like, he's got a coach. He's not afraid to make those big calls and pick the right person. So maybe he's just.
It's just so much in your salary cap for a guy that's pretty untested. You know, like, congrats to the manager and also congrats to Talon De Silva. Like, I'm always happy for a player to get a long deal, but if I'm running a club, like and I've already got Riley Smith there and he's playing some good solid footy. I just don't know whether you need to sign a bloke for essentially a 5-year deal on a huge wicket. As I said, if he came in and was a 2 or 3 year deal, I would totally get that length because his potential is really, really there. And he can play, you know, in tandem with Riley Smith, but I just don't get the length of it.
I suppose what I will say, and I'm with you, Campy, the length of it seems a bit absurd, but look, man, they've just sat there and gone, we like Talon, we like Riley Smith. I believe Joey Lussick's on the way out. So maybe it's going to look, if we're paying 600K for a hooker and whatever Riley's on, maybe 354 at the moment, that'll probably change in coming years, but not huge amounts of money for such a key position when there's injuries, suspensions, any sorts of things to be covered at number 9. It's a bit of money, but it's not ridiculous for two players with really bright futures.
That's fair. Like if, let's say you're paying Riley Smith 300 right now, so your 2 hookers are taking up 900K. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Because, like, for example, Api Coruscant, he'd be getting about, 800K at the moment? And then let's say De Silva was on 400K. That's 1.2 million on 2 hookers.
It's also like, and I think it's fair to say, they've obviously got halfback sorted for the next few years. And I think they knew what they had in Iongi as well. So when you've got your halfback and fullback sorted, 5'8" will be interesting to see what they do there. When you've got those positions sorted, you're right. I don't think it's as crazy as it seems.
I will say, Riles has given me so much confidence. I know he's going to turn him into a good player. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to see DeBellin in this forward pack as well at 13. It's going to be so good.
I'd just be so interested to see if there were other... Like, if I'm Manly, I would have signed Riley Smith I would have looked at Riley Smith as almost... I would have been happy to give him the contract the Eels have given Talon De Silva.
Like a 2 or 3 year deal at 600K a year, man.
3-year deal, I'll do it. Yeah, sure. If he said, I want 4 and I'll come, I'd seriously look at it.
Yeah, because they've struggled for a 9 because injuries and that with Croker and...
Jazz is going overseas. So they've got Simpkins, Croker, Gordy, Riley Smith. And it's just the intangibles with him that I just love.
Yeah, his line speed is just outstanding. Okay, now on to the Roosters. Look, I don't want to say this is a nail in the coffin to their season, but I feel it. Like, as in, and what I mean by
winning a comp,
as far as winning a comp, like they can still make the 8. They've got to essentially win their 2 next games. They play Melbourne this week, then they obviously play the Rabbitohs last game. But there was a period there where I was like, could they go on a run and just bash 4 teams in a row? Now I just don't know whether they can do this I don't think they've got 4 good games in a row in them at the moment.
Well, reality is it's not 4 now, it's 6. Realistically. Like this game against Melbourne, that's going to be built up as a finals game for them. Sam Walker's not going to be featuring. Mate, South Sydney, I reckon they've had their eyes on this game for the last 6 weeks. Like, just from talking to people at South and whatnot, like you ask when guys are returning and they keep saying, they'll be back for 27. It's like they've got a goalpost there that says round 27 just to spoil this party. Big concern with the Roosters over the years when they've done, had good seasons and made finals. Can't beat Penrith, can't beat Melbourne. They're going to have to play Melbourne this week and then come finals. I think they're going to have to beat both those sides at some point.
Yeah, because if Penrith land 5th, they'll play 8th.
Very likely.
And history says they can't really beat either of them.
Jeez, that's like other teams, one of them knocking the other out is like so good. You'd rather, wow. The biggest concern I have is look, I know that they can bounce back and they can play a good game, but what was their mental state to go in and complete at essentially 55%? Like, what is going on there?
And that's the thing. Look, obviously there was the Sammy Walker concussion earlier on in the game, and that changes everything in the Roosters' attack. But Sammy Walker being on the field doesn't stop players clean dropping ball after ball after ball prior to contact and in contact. Sammy Walker doesn't change that.
No. And it was so many different players too. Like what did they do in that week to the build up? And I'm not trying to absolve them of responsibility at all, but like something must have been different that week. Or maybe it was just a blip and it just happens. But I just would love to know what they did in the build up to be so mentally checked out.
Yeah. And obviously, Sam Walker had an impact, but I agree with what Tim said. Also, they had 18 weeks of footy to prepare for life without Sam Walker.
True. And they were playing pretty bloody good without him.
Playing great without him, yeah. I thought that Hugo had a pretty tough night out.
Yeah.
Probably his toughest game he's had in first grade, but they just weren't on the same page, the Roosters.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him. I mean, he still should take accountability, but Junior Tupou, that flick pass, you just go on. Look, I understand they're chasing points, but like you just don't do it. Just don't do it. Teddy had 4 errors. Would have been interesting if they had have got that try on half time. Would have that changed something? I don't know. But yeah, it's not a matter of do they have the skill to bounce back immediately. That's not a concern for me. It's just like for that many people to be mentally checked out, that's the concern. But it's very strange.
And even as you said, if they got that try at half time, it's like, fuck, that try was off a scrum that had 3 rebounds to it.
Yeah. Like, it's a big bomb.
You're a team that people are telling me last week, they can win a comp from the bottom 4. It's like, fuck. Not with performances like that.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Hammy?
Yeah, that's obviously a little bit of a concern, a little bit of a wobble. They still should probably scrape into the 8, but they might upset 1 or 2 teams along the way. But I'm probably with you. I don't think they've got 4 consistent good games back to back, to go all the way. But a little bit concerned that there were so many of them just seemed to have a stinker on the same night. But there was 1 or 2 little green shoots. I thought Mark was excellent. We spoke about him a little bit earlier. A couple of really nice offloads and passes, and nearly had the try there as well. He's someone I think he's getting a start in that Kangaroos team. Start of the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the wings, who would you have? Coates, if he plays for Australia?
Coates and Mark.
Lomax in the squad?
You don't have Lomax there?
I think he's overtaken Lomax at the moment, for me.
Oh, that's a huge call.
Not a bad shout.
Yeah.
You're overtaking Zach Lomax.
Yeah, like since Origin, Lomax has been not that great, but he kicks. He does get through a lot of work. I'm not as confident with it, but probably just maybe.
Yeah, I think some respect has to be given to Lomax what he's done on the big stage.
Yeah, that's fair. And he was great for Australia last week. So I'm not like fully in the camp, but if I was to select right now, maybe Nwangani Tawase.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy to have him in the squad.
Yeah.
But I think I'd still... So you wouldn't take Zach Lomax over there?
I would probably take him over there for sure. Like, I think Lomax has been... Outside of this Origin series, he's been outstanding in Origin footy. He's just struggled for confidence a little bit since then. He's had some good games, but other games... What do you reckon, Timmy?
Zach Lomax is absolutely my winger.
Okay.
Yeah, in the end of season tour, yeah. Look, he's had, been a little bit down since the back end of Origin, but Parramatta putting up great performances. He still had a lot of brilliant moments. He was outstanding in this game. Once again, like his kick chases, as we've become accustomed to, have been brilliant. But he's done enough in the last 2 years to keep, to have the wing spot for the Roos at the end of the year. I think there is every chance that in 12 months' time, we're having Nwangani Tawase could potentially blow him out of the water, and he's the obvious wing selection. But right now, it's still Zach Lomax.
I know it's not. I know one game doesn't mean everything, but like the Roosters got pumped, played terribly. Nwangani Tawase had 2 try assists, 18 runs, 126 metres, 50 post contact, 6 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists, 3 offloads, compared to...
And a disallowed try.
Compared to Lomax, he had 16 runs, 99 metres, 39 post contact, 1 tackle break.
Was he crook coming
He was
into the
touch and go to
game?
play this game, to be fair.
Yeah,
Like,
heaps of doubt.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's only one game, as you said. But, Mark's had his troubles this year as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting a lot of applaudances and he deserves them, but he has had a lot of troubles himself this year as well. I just think runs on the board in the big moments, I think Lomax has earned that opportunity.
Would you take them both and basically whoever trains better has an option, or no, definitely lock Lomax in no matter what?
I'd be locking Lomax in personally. But
I'm pretty confident Zach Lomax is the winger in England, and I think in 12 months' time, if Nwanetuazi stays in the game, then he will be the winger for the Kangaroos at the end of next year.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
I think as well, it'll depend, you get to the end of the season, how many of these other players are going to go over. I think the other thing with Lomax is I think he's playing through a bit of shit at the moment. He had the fractured foot during the season and whatnot. Wouldn't surprise me. I think you'll have a lot of guys that'll pull out of this Ashes tour for surgeries and stuff. So might be worth taking both of them. I guess the beauty of Lomax is he can play both positions too.
Yeah, centre, wing, fullback.
Yeah. I think Mark could as well, to be fair. I think he'd be okay, but I trust Lomax at centre before Mark.
I'll tell you the other thing. Rugby league are going to be doing everything they can to keep him in the game and just dangling this little end of your trip. I'd say, mate, come on the tour.
And also with Lomax, just from a fan of Lomax perspective, I want him to go away with Australia just to get that confidence back, because I know that Origin hurt. You want your players to hurt from Origin. It clearly hurt him, and that's a good thing that he does care that much. I would love him to go to Australia, and if he does kill it, just get that confidence, that swagger back in his game. He had a really good game last week. I think he ran 250 metres. He had 2 tries. So I guess we'll see. Okay, on to the next game. Broncos v the Knights, 46-12. Look, I'm pretty happy with this from a Broncos perspective. They were patient. Yeah, you could argue they were patient without being ruthless in the first half. But listen, if you build enough pressure where you end up scoring a bunch of tries in the back end, I'm pretty okay with that. Yes, it is the Knights that are struggling right now, missing a bunch of players, but yeah, I was okay with the performance. I will say, I want to see the Broncos against a top 8 side with Ben Hunt leading them around, because he seems to be very in control a lot of the time, Benny Hunt.
What do you do when Adam Reynolds becomes available again? Sounds like he'll be back for finals.
Yep.
Do you move Hunt back to hooker? Do you leave him in the halves? Do you
probably leave him in the halves?
Play him at 5'8"?
And just let Reynolds do what he does, which is his brilliant kicking game. But I think there's a bit of verbal leadership that Ben Hunt seems to bring that Reynolds more leads by actions.
I don't think you need a creative number 9. You put Corey Pax in there, whoever it might be.
Billy Walters has been outstanding.
Billy Walters in there, and just say, look, just distribute, make your tackles. If the opportunity's on, run like any hooker should. But you then have Hunt, Reynolds, Reece Walsh. Points aren't an issue. You just have a number 9 who passes tackles, and I think you keep Ben Hunt in the halves, because you're sitting there going, why can't we win the comp this year? We're still also in the hunt for a top 4 spot, which will be huge. But again, can the Broncos, say they finish outside the 4, can they win 4 on the trot to win the comp? Probably not, but on their day, we know they can beat anyone. So they'd be sitting there going, why not?
Yeah. And also they've said that Selwyn and Mam aren't back, but I reckon that they're still aiming to get them back.
And you have, I know you mentioned, Roo, that Benny Hunt's been sort of controlling things really well, and I've got no knock on him as the 7, but all right, Adam Reynolds' game is an organising number 7. You go, you're the 7, and then you go, Benny, you're the playmaking brilliance along with Reece Walsh. You play as a 5'8", and you swing both sides off me. Do your thing, mate.
Essentially what they did at the start of the year when they started so well.
It's more the verbal stuff that I think, you can just see that he is much more willing to blow up blokes and say, I can get here. And ever since he's been the 7, Walshy's been outstanding.
Yeah, there's been a completely different intent with him in the halfback than when Adam Reynolds was there.
And so I just think if they can get the balance right where Reynolds leads them around the park physically, but Reynolds gives him enough space to be out the guy talking, I think that's probably the balance they need at the moment.
I just wonder as well too if Adam Reynolds was some time off and seeing that. I wonder if he, I do wonder sometimes with these young guys in your squad like Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam, if there is a bit of sort of tiptoeing around to keep them in the right frame of mind. And I wonder if Adam Reynolds was sort of maybe had some time and gone, they're responding to Ben.
Yeah.
I can be that guy too.
Yeah.
I have been that guy for most of my career.
And also with Renault, he came when these guys were so much younger.
Yeah.
So he had to tiptoe them around a bit because they were so young, and young players have so much power now. Whereas you're right, maybe Reynolds even looking at this going, okay, I can go back to the guy I was at the South Sydney Rabbitohs where I'm telling blokes, fucking pull your head in, do this, do that. Because even in this game, you could see Benny Hunt blowing up at blokes when they weren't getting to certain points on the field. I think, although Reynolds is one of the better sevens of this generation, it does help that Ben Hunt, Origin, being in the biggest games, whatever. Mate, Billy Walters was unbelievable on the weekend. He has just been so good this year. I just got so much admiration for Billy Walters because Madge came in, and I got admiration for Madge too, because the easy thing for Madge would have been to come in and just gone, Walters, see ya. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the talk. I don't want to deal with the stories. It's easier for me to just, but he didn't. He walked in and he said, whoever has the best preseason is going to get that role. And Billy Walters didn't have an issue, put his head down. He's been phenomenal. And I think that it's just a really good sign for the club that they can handle that situation as well as they have handled it, especially when this. It hasn't been the perfect season. Things have gone wrong for the Broncos. So I do think Madge deserves massive credit, but mainly Billy Walters. I think you could argue it's his best season. At the very least, it's one of his best seasons so far.
How long is Billy signed for with you guys? Is he geez, he'd be a good get for a Perth or someone coming in. He'd be a fantastic signing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
2026.
Yeah.
So you can talk November 1.
That'll be an interesting spot for you guys. You've obviously got Moser coming through. Did
so
I
they're
say
thinking about
Moser?
loan.
Yeah.
Thinking about loaning Moser, which I think is smart. I think that he's got to be playing first grade at least this year coming. I will say a little bit not surprised actually, because when Mam's back, Hunt goes into 9. But I think it's the only way. We just have to keep Moser. We can't afford to lose him. We cannot afford to lose him as a 9. He's a 9 for the next 10 years. So I reckon lending him to another club is a smart decision.
Love it.
Yeah.
Why not?
If it's the only way to keep him, just do it. Just do it. In regards to performances on the weekend, guys, I just thought Reece Walsh was electric again. He just seems so much more locked in, so much more focused. I understand it's against the Knights. I get it. And we need to see it against top-tier sides. But he had a try, he had 2 try assists, 196 metres. That line break he made where he ducked multiple people on a kick return was insane. Very few fullbacks can move like that. Footwork, ducking, weaving, speed. It was just amazing to watch. He had 13 tackle breaks on the weekend, 2 line breaks, 3 line break assists, and only 1 error. He took all those risks and he only had 1 error.
He's just the ultimate entertainer, isn't he? He has the ability to individually turn it on for 10 minutes and win you a game of footy against anyone. He can be unstoppable when he's at his best. And early on in this game, he took over the kicking on 4th tackle and kicked it out with nothing happening. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And the first thing that comes to mind there is just, mate, focus on your job. Yeah. That is not your job. That is Ben Hunt's job.
Yeah.
And Benny Hunt should blow up at that. Yeah. Reece, you don't have to do everything for us. And you sit there shaking your head. Half an hour later, he's scored late on tries and just single-handedly decimated the Knights and won the game for the Broncos, and you've just gone, just let him do what he wants.
Mate.
Wasn't that a bizarre 5 minutes? That was just insane.
You could see Benny Hunt was clearly chirping at him, and while she was doing the hands up, come on kind of thing. But that's what he needs. He needs someone to just go, mate, just calm down.
That is not Reece Walsh's job. Especially getting to 4th tackle when they're attacking the line as well, or about 30 out from memory, and just to roll it dead. That's game management. It's your halfback's job.
Yeah.
And good on Reece for trying to do everything, but you don't have to, mate.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. But I just thought he was electric on the weekend. Karapani, he was outstanding. That left foot step is something special. Dean Mariner, that finish that he had. I mean, a lot of the outside backs were outstanding.
The whole back 5. They were scored.
Yep, absolutely. And what's crazy is Selwyn Cobbo and Jesse Arthurs were the one that started the year on the wings. Jesse Arthurs came on towards the end there, but at the moment, Karapani and Dean Mariner. So Karapani, 200 metres essentially. Dean Mariner, 252 metres.
The back five busted 40 tackles between them.
Jesus.
Staggs, his first try, like you don't see it very often that a guy that plays the ball scores the try.
Yeah.
Not only did that happen, he made the line break on the tackle before, played the ball, then made the line break on that try to score again. Crazy.
And he's up against
He had more
Bradman
line
Best.
breaks than played the balls in that.
And he's up against Bradman Best too, which is like the fact that Staggs still had the game he had.
Yeah.
He is just. I'm so happy that Staggs has gotten to this point in his career because I'll be honest, like a couple of years ago, I just didn't think it was going to happen because there was so many years where we were like, just needs to work more. He just needs to work more. Mate, he's become one of our most consistent players this year.
Who's more likely for a kangaroo tour, Staggs or Nwangani Tuase?
Probably no one good into us. Oh, with the different positions.
Because Kevin Maltz keeps talking about him.
And he did coach him, I guess. But like in the centres, would you have?
If they're fit,
Holmes.
you have Turbo and Latrell.
I'm having both. Why do I have to have one or the other?
Yeah. How big can the squad be? As big as you want?
I think it's like a 25-man squad.
Yeah, I reckon they're both in there, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think they'll take many more. Like they're already fighting over whether Gordon Tallis can go under different names or whatever. So, but like it's only a 3-game series. There's no games in between that. So if you're taking 25, that's 8 extra guys. That's plenty for a 3-game series.
And that's 2 extra outside backs that can play fullback too, because Tommy can play fullback, Chol can play fullback. Yeah, so Staggs and Nwangani Tuase could get in there. Mate, I thought Payne Haas was absolutely phenomenal. That try, like front rower just striding out like that is unbelievable. 22 runs, 232 metres, 79 post contact, 2 tackle breaks, a line break, 3 offloads, 30 tackles, 0 misses. He's just fucking unbelievable. Seriously, unbelievable. So, good solid win. Knights, not really going to spend much time on the Knights, guys. It just, we've spoken about it already, but it just does seem like they've packed it up for the year. They're looking towards the end of the year, which, look, you don't want to do that, but part of me understands it's just a year that hasn't worked for them.
It was crazy, wasn't it? There was that moment, Knights down 20-12. Schiller made the line break.
Yeah.
Drew Walsh to Arthurs, which should have been a runaway try, and game on. Dropped it. Broncos score next set, 26-12, and just run away with it. But what could have been if they just got it back to that 20-18 and had a bit more belief? But it didn't happen that way, and they absolutely went to water. So, look, no excuses. It's
Man, I got to say, like Adam O'Brien selecting Jake Arthurs there. I don't get it. I just don't get what he's thinking.
he had a stinker.
He had an absolute stinker, and I know Jake Arthur would want to play first grade, but you're almost doing Jake Arthur a disservice to bring him at this time of the year. Like they're already checked out. Then on top of that, it's not like Jake Arthur is a superstar yet or anything like that, and you're bringing him in whilst everyone's checked out. I don't think it helps his cause. I really don't. But
then you add to that, mate, Connor Vitano, we spoke about him last week. A potential future number 1 of the club. Young bloke. You bring him on for a debut. He has a shocker last week, sure. You drop him this week. Your season's done. That could shatter the poor kid's confidence. I get it. They're trying to avoid a wooden spoon. And we said last week, at the end of the day, Gagai at number 1 is probably better than Vitano right now for winning games of footy. But you've brought Vitano in. He's had a bit of an off game.
he has to wait all the way till next year to right that wrong.
Give him a chance a week later to make amends at home on Old Boys Day. I just don't see what you've achieved there.
And if you are going to drop him, put him in reserve grade. Get him, let him work on some stuff. Like they did it too late to allow him to play reserve grade. So he comes off a bad game last week and then just has to sit there for almost 3 weeks now.
Mate, it's ridiculous. Some of these decisions are just... They're not NRL standard, unfortunately. Adam O'Brien's done great to get them to finals footy most years, but these decisions just don't make any sense. They hurt the club, they hurt the team.
But even the flow-on effect of that, I say that, all right, Gagai's probably, is better than Vitano at number 1, at least in the short term this year, but that then put James Schiller out of position at centre. He was torn apart at centre when you have Gagai, who's one of the better defensive centres in the game there. So you've left a gap there as a result of it.
And to make that even worse, Schiller got torn apart as centre against the Panthers as well. So it's not like he doesn't have information that suggests he's not a centre. I think it was the Panthers, but there was a game where he got torn apart, Schiller. Mate, these decisions don't make any sense long term. Like for example, right now with Jake Arthur in the halves, how does that help next year? What has that got to do with next year?
Unless you're sitting there saying that Jake Arthur's going to be my 6 and Dill Brown's going to be my 7, which I would suggest it probably won't be.
Like, it just... And if you're trying to avoid the spoon, wouldn't you bring Hastings? Is Hastings injured?
No, he's played cup on the weekend.
Right.
That's the other thing for me. Like, you don't like Jackson, whatever, sure, but like, you're playing at Old Boys Day in Newcastle. He's your best halfback. Let's not fuck around anymore. He's your best halfback. Everyone knows that. Just pick him. Like, what are we doing?
And you've already picked him before too.
Yeah, it's not like he's been on Exile Island over there. Like, you picked him a couple of weeks ago. He played. Mate. It just seems bizarre to me.
All of it just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, and now they've missed out on Hannay too. So,
well, that's the other thing. Like, I assume the Titans have had that done for a while.
Yeah.
You would. Fuck, I hope.
Yeah. Surely, let's just tell ourselves they did. Now, quickly, Cowboys v. the Tigers. Cowboys defeat the Tigers 34-28. This is brought to you by Be Good Health. Go to Good. I've got my good day right here, guys. Got my good day right here. Go to begoodhealth.com.au. Grab your good day. And if you use code DMP, you get 10% off. If you pair it with a subscription, you get 20% off. And I never leave the house without my good day. Tastes nice, and it's super, super convenient. Man, I can't believe the Tigers lost this one.
Yeah, appropriate response.
Now, I do remember Timmy leaving a game early and copping a little bit of stick for it. I believe Tigers are up and you left this game at half time.
Yeah.
Oh, you cursed your team.
Did Timmy have to go to work at the conclusion of that other game, or did he just leave?
Timmy's always working, mate. He works in rugby league.
Yeah, content creator.
Yep.
Did he have to go like record something in a time-sensitive manner?
Business owners, mate, answering emails doesn't stop.
What I will say, extremely different circumstances. Any 4 p.m. game this year, I've been to a lot of them. I've had to leave at half time. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
He's on the back foot.
It crumbled all right.
They
crumbled all right.
They were leading. I got to see a beautiful try of the year. I mean, I think we can probably all agree that's going to be try of the year with the flick pass. What are you laughing at? Coast to coast in these sexy 05 kids.
You got to win for it to be try of the year.
Oh, please. Since when?
No, it wasn't even try of the round.
Yes, it was.
No one got into ISAs.
Nah, that was
strange.
That was a no try.
It was honestly sneak onto the podium.
Yeah, maybe the podium.
That was a no. Mark Nawani to ISA didn't score a try on the weekend. So, beat you with logic there. Look, I had to get to work. But the point is, disappointing game. Blew it. Should not have blown it. That's kind of the way that
Do you feel any guilt at all?
No.
Were you on the hill at Leichhardt
Yes.
with Tigers fans, crunching numbers, working out your finals calculations as you left it?
No, I already knew the state of play. We had to keep winning. Roosters had to keep losing. So it was very clear what they were. I did think the Cowboys got a little bit lucky with the one-on-one strip in the second half. I thought we saw the Roosters get a penalty denied for the exact same, or try to get denied for the exact same thing 2 days before. So why is it then when there's a one-on-one strip and it's raked out and it hits the ground, why was that a try?
I thought it was a strip, Hammy.
Thank you.
Tough call from the Uber.
It's a tough call.
Yeah. Guru, I left early. I've made my peace with that. Let it rest. A tough watch.
Oh, man, you'd done so well. You'd done so well to get that lead. It looked like you were going to put the game away. And just, if there's one team you don't want to give a sniff, it's probably the Cowboys. Scotty Drinkwater, he just turned it on.
We gave Scott Drinkwater 15 minutes to work with, and he only needed about 12 of them, and completely hammered us. I think the damning stat here for me, I think Matty was saying to me, had him as his super coach captain. To that point, he was on 30 points. By the end of the game, he was on 120. So, we got Scott Drinkwater.
West Tigers Cowboys matchup is slowly becoming my favourite in the league over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's actually been quite good.
It's been unreal the last few seasons.
Yeah, it has been.
Are you ahead?
Hey?
Are you ahead in the Cowboys-Tigers matchup?
Ahead of them?
Yeah, like have you won more against in the last few years?
I reckon it'll be even spoils. But I think there's been, in these games as well, the last 6 or 7, or maybe even 8 of them, there's been at least 60 points scored. Like they're very exciting, kind of high octane games. But came away on the wrong side of this one, unfortunately.
All right, we'll get in the game quickly. Look, I think the good thing for the Cowboys, at least, first of all, they look much better with Taumalolo in their front row back. But it does look like the playing group is still playing for Peyton, which is a good sign for next year. The last thing you want to do is have a playing group totally checked out, but then not replace the coach. So there's a positive there.
It was, awesome fight back. Like, it's easy to laugh at what happened to the poor old Tigers, but the way the Cowboys stormed home in this game when they seemed dead and buried, like as you said, Campy, they showed a hell of a lot of ticker. Like, they never gave up on this game, scored some scintillating tries, and yeah, look, it was an ugly start for them, but the fact that their season was done and they were still able to find enough away from home when behind, it's a great sign.
Are we concerned that whenever Todd Payten is under pressure, they do enough just to keep him in the job?
Yeah, it does seem to.
I feel like when a coach is under pressure and they've lost sort of the playing group and they don't want to play for them, they don't get up for games and they just tend to fold. Whereas, like, I'm with Campy. I think it's a good sign that this is happening and they are winning games. I don't know.
Okay, so if the same thing happens next year, because I think it happened last year and the year before.
Honestly, I wouldn't say this publicly, but internally, and I wouldn't say it to Payton either, but I'll be watching that first 10 rounds. If they come out and their defense is terrible again, like, it's just not even worth it. I just think that their main focus in the off-season has to be defense. They've got to be, like, I would even try to set a goal of, like, we've got to be in the top 8 defensively because our attack is unbelievable. We just need to sort the defense out.
Does this squad have what it takes on paper to improve their defence enough, or does there need to be, not a lot, but a couple of personnel changes in the back line?
Well, you could argue these young guys have been given an opportunity. They're going to be better for it. You know, they've had a whole season. Purdue will be better for it. Laybutt will be better for it. Who else is on the wing there?
Because, like, going into next year, we're going to be sitting there now. They might win a preseason game well. And we could be all right. If they get their defence sorted, top 4. If they don't get the defence sorted, nothing changes, wooden spoon. Like, it is that big of a discrepancy between what they can and can't do.
I'm just looking now. So their 4 is 508, which is essentially, a top 8. Just under top 8 4. So their attack is decent, but yeah, the defence is just diabolical. It is
second worst in the comp. Just like the Titans are only just worse than them in defence. So the whole preseason's just got to be I just think that Payton needs to only select players on defence. Whatever it's centre, wing, forwards, whoever has the best defence, just pick like that, and then slowly introduce better attacking players here or there if they need to score more points.
I can't see with like Did and Scotty Drinkwater, Jeremiah and I just don't see scoring points as being an issue anytime soon. It's like, get your defence right, everything changes for you.
Yeah. But yeah, good signs that they're fighting for their coach. But hopefully, you're right though, Roo. They've done this so many times. It's bloody tough.
Tell you what, you want to talk about Stags and Whanganitawase Smokies for the Ashes. Can I introduce you to Braden Burns? He's averaging 204 run metres in the last 5 weeks. In the last 5 weeks, he's had 44 tackle breaks.
Far out.
He has been on an absolute fucking tear. He's got to try in each of the games in the last 4 weeks. I think he just re-signed on a 1-year deal. To think he was a teacher's aide that was going to play some part-time footy a year ago is crazy. Vegas next year, Murray Tuilagi on one wing. I think Braden Burns has to be on the other side.
Yeah, okay. Don't mind that shout. I thought Taumalolo was outstanding. They are just a different side with Taumalolo in it. Like, seriously, they go... He's just... They don't have any go forward without him through the middle. Like, they just get dominated a lot of the time. Like, Griffin Neame has some good games every now and then. Cohen Hess is all right, but he's been injured. Jason Taumalolo, they need him to be playing good footy. Otherwise, it's too hard. It's too hard. Yeah,
Taumalolo, 9 games this year, 6 wins, 3 losses.
Yeah, wow.
And one of them he was injured in. It's good going.
Anyway, quickly on the Tigers before we finish up. I thought, we've already spoken about it, but Taylor May, freaking
outrageous.
Hell. For him to come back into an NRL system midway through the year and just get into good nick this quickly, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He's been outrageous. Any time the ball, they did it a few times yesterday. They just got it to him quickly and just let him do the rest. Like, didn't overthink it. He's been a super get. Very exciting.
How valuable is it to have a weapon in your team like that? That, as you said, Hammy, don't overthink it. Give him early ball, and he's creating stuff out of nothing more often than not.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
Terrell May once again had a solid game. I thought Taruva was good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just look, I'm still like, obviously I think most people agree. Like, I'm stoked with the Tigers' year. I think they've come so far. They're still sitting 11th.
Mm-hmm.
They can finish as high as 9th.
Still a mathematical chance.
What I'll say is as well, Hammy, like,
Actually, yeah, you are.
You lost Adam Dewey 14 minutes into the game.
Yep.
You led for the most part of the game, and then Latu Finu obviously went into the halves. You lost him to a HIA at the back end of the game there, and a lot of that, literally the set after that Latu went off, I think Naden was defending at 3-man. It might have been Samuel Finu who was defending at centre, and they just went bang, bang, and exposed it straight away, as a good team should.
Yeah.
And you lost 2 halves. So, that's something.
I think, like, if nothing else, huge positive. Like, I'm sorry, but the last 5 years, this was happening to you once a fortnight.
Correct.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This is happening. This is the first time I can remember you having like a bed shit like this. And when you take in the context of what Tim said, it's not really a bed shit in my opinion.
Losing 2 halves. I mean, we carried on like a pork chop when the Broncos lost their 2 halves. Granted, I know they're bigger names, but they're still the same position.
100%. Yep.
So yeah, I'm happy with the Tigers' year. I think they've come so far, and I think, Benji Marshall deserves a massive rap to be able to keep these boys together with everything they've gone through. I think he deserves a rap. I really do.
Yeah.
And it does seem like this club is turning a corner.
When you go through like that 13 they named yesterday, like there is not a single player that hasn't improved.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you add Kai Piss-Ball, I think that'll be a great signing for them. Geez, Taylor May is going to be an interesting watch over the next few seasons.
Oh, mate. And you would have got him for a bargain too.
Yeah.
Far out.
Trying to upgrade him at the moment. Hopefully they can get that done. 2 pretty tough games to bring it home. Raiders in Canberra, Dolphins at Kayo Stadium. Hopefully they can get one more win. It'd be nice to just round out the year on a good note. But
yeah,
it's been a good year.
Yeah. Alrighty. Don't forget, tonight, Grumpy Coffee Father's Day blend, limited edition, brand new blend, first brand new blend we've done since launching. Also, we've got discounted on Bloke undies, on slides, on thongs, on stubbies. And don't forget to give Lukey a message if you're looking for a car. He's got a special deal for Bloke members, LDC_01. And we'll all go fuck ourselves. Thank you.
You want to do some...
Jeez, abrupt.
My bad.
Oh, good.
Rattled. So rattled.
Scared that he's getting chased down. Didn't want to do it.
Sorry, boys. My bad.
No, all good.
All right, let's face a bit of music brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. It's not like they're a huge partner or anything, and they don't help the show fucking immensely.
All right, let's dive in. So Thursday night footy, another cracking Thursday night game. Dogs, $2.39. Host the Penrith Panthers, $1.57. 4.5 points is the line in this one.
Sorry, I just got to...
No, all good.
It's a hard market to find. No golden pointer.
Well, they... Yeah, I'm going Golden Point, first one.
Yep. Yes, to go Golden Point. That's 15.
You doing it?
$15.
Doesn't get it. I'm going to go a little bit obscure here, but I've done the work for you, so it's fine.
No, hang on a sec.
No, here we go. Put some more rules in. Go.
No, you can't just be changing it up. You've changed it up late in the season.
Give me the Penrith Panthers by 1 point. They're at $21.
No, hang on a sec. I tried this. I tried to change it up with the Sharkies a few weeks ago. The bet that I got correct, and you didn't let me.
What did you put in?
Remember the bet that I won with the Sharkies that they were going to win by a certain margin?
An exact amount, yeah.
And you said you can't do that.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I'm not copying that, Roo. What do you got? We're going to Golden Point or 1 to 12? Or what?
I'm not going Golden Point. Fuck that. I'll pick a different Golden Point game later in the week. I'm going to take Panthers 1 to 12.
280.
If Roo was getting his by 1 point, I was going to go Panthers by 7 at 100 to 1. But look, we'll let it slide. I'm going to go Panthers to cover.
Yep.
Give me Dogs with a start.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dogs 1 at 12 at $3.30. Then we've got the Warriors, $1.55, take on the Eels, $2.46. 4.5 is the line in this one over there in New Zealand.
Eels 13 plus.
$6.
I will go Eels 1 to 12.
$3.50.
I'll go Warriors to cover.
Yep.
Warriors head to head.
Yep, $1.55. Geez, this is actually a tough game. Last game in New Zealand for the Warriors. I reckon I'll go with the Warriors 1-12, $2.85. All right, Storm, $1.40. Host the Sydney Roosters, $2.96. 7.5 points is the line down there in Melbourne.
Storm -7.5.
Yep.
I'll take Roosters plus 7.5.
I'm going to go Roosters 13 plus for a bit of value.
7.75.
I'll go Storm, just Storm. Storm head to head.
Yeah, I'll go Storm -7.5. Raiders,
Do you
$1.
want to have some units on the line here? You're -7.5. I'm plus 7.5.
No, don't try and get fancy, mate. Don't try and get fancy.
Some entertainment for the people.
Yeah, there's plenty of
Something to
entertainment.
watch,
Don't you worry
something
about
to
that, mate.
enjoy, don't
Hey,
worry.
this one could be for you, Roo, for the Golden Point game. Raiders $1.22 host the Tigers $4.30.
Fuck off.
The line is 12.5 points.
12.5. I'll go Raiders 1-12.
3.05.
I'll go Tigers 1-12.
5.10.
Raiders to cover.
Raiders to cover.
If Raiders, I won't say anything, but
What?
dumb bet.
Tigers plus 12.5 for me. Dragons $1.86 host Manly $1.98. 1.5 points is the line on Saturday, Arvo.
I'll go Dragons 13 plus.
3.80.
I'll go Manly 13 plus.
4.30.
Dragons to cover.
Dragons head to head.
Manly 13 plus for me as well. 4.30. Cowboys $2.73 host the Brisbane Broncos $1.46. 6.5 points is the line.
Broncos to cover.
I will go Cowboys 1-12.
Broncos to cover.
3.80.
Broncos to cover.
Broncos 13 plus for me. 2.60. Sharks $1.13 host the Newcastle Knights $6.05 head to head. The line is a whopping 16.5 points.
Oh.
I almost want to go Knights 13 plus because it's nearly $20.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
They haven't scored 20 points almost all season. Cumulatively.
Fuck, what's the line again?
16.5.
Jeez, that's shit.
Always got the golden point option there as well. I know you've used yours.
I've used it, yeah.
Can't you too?
Yeah.
No way.
Fuck, there's no value here at all. I'll just go Knights head to head. Fuck it.
6.05.
16.5 is heaps. Knights plus 16.5.
Yeah.
Knights plus 16.5.
I'll go Sharks 13 plus.
$1.54. I'll go Sharks plus 16.5. Then to bring us home, Dolphins $1.53 host the Gold Coast Titans $2.51. 4.5 points is the line.
What did you go in the last game?
Went the Knights plus 16.5.
I will go.
It's getting tight at the bottom.
I'm getting a bit nervous. He said Sharks plus 16.5. I'm like, for a bloke who does the scoring, he could have swung that either way. So I'm going to just confirm this.
I'm going to go. Let's go Titans head to head.
251.
Golden point.
Golden point for this one. Okay.
Is that a scoff?
$13.
No, you just think you're so mad now. Like you've had 2 good weeks and you're carrying on like a pork chop.
Scoff Whitlam.
Please.
$13.
I'll go. What have we got here? I'll go Dolphins 13 plus.
Yeah.
I'll go.
275.
I'll give Titans a 4-point start.
Dolphins 13 plus 275 for me as well.
Alrighty, that
true.
is Face the Music, brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. Hopefully I can get up again this week. Give Hammy a follow on the feed as well.
Please do.
And as usual, we'll go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.